I'm still trying. Oh, hang on. We're live.
Hello and welcome to the Sunday edition of Spurs Diehards TTID, Tottenham Till I Die. Tonight we'll be discussing the North London derby, and we'll also be discussing why a future investor or multi-billionaire would want to buy the club. Plus we've got some light-hearted stuff that we usually have at the end of each show. So without further ado, I'm not going to waffle on. I like to get straight into it. I'm sure you do. So going to introduce our guests, familiar faces to some of you now. Alan, how are you, mate?
Doing well, trying to keep the beat the heat. My brain is so fried that I'm stumbling on my words. I was saying it's 40 degrees here, which I know for us is 104. It's just crazy hot.
It's about 4 here.
What's that?
It's about 4 here.
Oh, jeez.
Well, no, it's not quite that bad, but it's nowhere near 40.
We never get 40 degrees. Right, we'll move on to Ian, who's becoming a bit of a regular on the show, and he comes out with lots of good stuff. Ian, how are you?
Yeah, all good. Everyone well today?
Yeah, we're fine.
All good. Sunday night.
All is good.
And Phil, another regular. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, not too bad. Glad to get the international games out of the way now, and looking forward to the North London derby. Come on.
And Mod Mark, how are you?
Very well, sir. Very well, sir. I'm just trying to sort the tangle out here, but all is good. All is good. I got wires.
We both got our North London is ours background. So. Yeah, I'm fine as well.
First time, but it took me about 15 minutes to sort it out.
I'm fine. I've got my coffee at my elbow, so I'm always fine when I've got that there. Right, a little bit of information before we get into it. For those that don't know, if we're in the chat, we've got 8 in the chat at the moment. I'm sure there's more coming. We have a couple of guests due to come in as well. Rice is suspended, isn't he, for his yellow cards at Brighton, so he misses the game. Mind you, they've got a good squad, Arsenal, so, no excuses there. VDV's missed games for us because he had a knee injury and he was left out the Newcastle game as a precaution. But word is he will be fit to play, and Solanke should return after his ankle injury. The only doubt on the bench would be Richarlison, who has got a muscle injury, and he keeps picking up these injuries. Right, so we'll talk about lineups. Alan.
Yes.
Your lineup or Angie's lineup? Give me both if you think they're going to differ in any way.
Probably wouldn't differ. Vicario in goal. I think he's probably going to have the same back. He'll have Porro, Romero, VDV, and Udogie. Don't really know. Right, and Calafiori is out. He's going to be out for a while. But he was Calafiori really wasn't a factor too much in Arsenal's lineup so far.
Yeah.
As far as the midfield, I think James Maddison will start because it seems like James Maddison will always start. I can see if Bentancur hopefully is available. Is Bentancur available?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then I think he'd start Bentancur. I would hope he'd start Bentancur. And probably Bissouma. And then I could see him having Johnson on the right. Again, not necessarily what I want, but kind of resigned to it. He'd have Son probably in the middle, and he'll have Odebert on the left. Who am I missing? Kulusevski, maybe? Yeah, it's probably going to be something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there are permutations. We'd all go for a few permutations, which wouldn't be bad starting lineups, but I mean, ours are all going to vary. Ian, your predicted lineup, or what? And if you think it's going to be different, Ange's.
No, I think the team I would pick would probably be the same as what Ange will pick. Same back five as usual. Bissouma, Bentancur, Maddison, Johnson, Solanke, Son.
Phil, your lineup, any different?
Yeah, so the back five is normal. The midfield is a tricky one, to be honest, because Bissouma, for me, is inconsistent. But he did score in the international game for Mali, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
So he is in a little bit of form in the last 3 games, including international games. So I'm torn between Bentancur and Bissouma, but I'd play Bentancur and Sarr in the midfield just for that little bit of bite. I don't trust Bissouma in a game like this, if I'm honest. And then I would play Maddison in the 10. And then it's got to be Sonny on the left, Solanke up top, and Odebert on the right. That is our best front three that we have at the club at the minute. I would bring Kulu on in the second half, depending on how Sarr is doing. But yeah, that's my lineup. But I don't think Ange will go with that. I think Ange will probably play Kulusevski in midfield instead of maybe a Sarr, and then it's a toss-up between Bentancur and Bissouma.
Mod Mark, so you're 11.
Yeah, right. First of all, big up Leo, Chris, Peter, Destiny 5, Nige, Matty. I'm just scrolling back. I think that's it. If I've missed anybody, I do apologise. Right, the lineup. Well, it's going to be the back five, isn't it? It's going to be the same back five as it always is. I mean, that's the way it is. Who would I put in the middle? Bissouma, Bentancur, and Maddison. Because personally, I think that Sarr just runs about a lot, and he don't actually do a lot. He just runs. he just runs about a lot. But you know,
Don't you think you need that energy in midfield, though, Mark?
Yeah, well, yeah, possibly, but he's not. He's got the energy, yes, but he's not exactly effective, is he? You know, he just runs about a lot.
I think Bentancur can do that sort of job, though, for
Yeah,
him. If Sarr sort of like breaks up play and you know is that engine in midfield, I think that could work. But yeah,
but well, that's my opinion. Is that Sarr just runs about a lot, and he doesn't actually do much. So the front three, I'd put, maybe it's going to be Sonny or Odebert, Solanke in the middle, and to be honest, anyone but Brennan on the right, because let's face it, he is useless. Where he just needs to kick at the backside.
I think there isn't much different in back five. but it's the North London derby. You need to get in. I think he'll definitely pick Basuma. He's definitely going to pick Maddison. So, you know, either or it would be, to me, it would be Bentancur or Kulusevski. I think he'll start with Kulusevski because he gives you that bit of grit in there. The front three, to me, I think it'll be, I don't know who's going to play on the left or right out of Sonny and Odobert, but I think they'll take the wing positions, and I think Solanke will play in the middle because that's what he's bought for. So you're not going to play Sonny in the middle when he's fit. So not in my opinion anyway. I could be proven totally wrong, right? On the subject of the front three, Alan, is it a concern of yours that we haven't even got what we would consider a regular front three, have we? We're 3 games in and like no regular front three due to injuries. Is that a concern?
I mean, on one hand, it is a concern because, you know, for situations like this, we don't even know who our front three would actually be. It's kind of difficult to tell. But I know Ange is rebuilding, so it's kind of it's just one of those situations where in a rebuild, this is what's going to happen, where we're never going to be certain until you find the right mix and it clicks, and then we can be more certain of it. You know, it's still very early in the season. Solanke only had 1 game. Really, the only reason why I thought that Son might start in the middle is because I've found with Ange, oftentimes, which what he did with Richarlison last season, whenever he was injured, he'd come in as a sub when he was healthy. And I'm just wondering if, you know, kind of to ease him back in. And I'm just wondering if he'll do that. But I'd be happy with him starting Solanke. This is definitely a game for Solanke to make a statement. But yeah, I do think it's a bit of a concern. But I think it's going to happen in a rebuild where it's just going to be that way until we find that right mixture of players so that we can have a firm front three. Until we find someone to kind of replace Harry Kane, you know, it's going to be difficult. It was always going to be difficult to replace Harry Kane.
Ian, your take on the front three?
I don't listen. The front two are nailed on. 2 out of the 3. Son's your captain. Solanke's a £65 million buy. He's not going to leave Solanke out, is he? And Son can't hold the ball up to save his life. Ball just keeps coming straight back, particularly against defenders like Saliba and Gabriel. So there's absolutely no question he starts with Son and Solanke. And I think Johnson. I don't get this whole thing about Odobert. I'm totally underwhelmed. I'm not surprised. I'm not knocking him. He's a 19-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Let's not overhype him. Let's give him a chance to settle in. But he's a young kid from Burnley. I mean, so I don't get it. What's he done in 2 games? Honestly, what has he done?
Phil, your take on the front three? We'll come to the midfield after we've done the front three.
In terms of them not playing much together because of injury and stuff like that, I don't think that is a factor, to be honest with you. I think they know each other from playing in the Prem together, you know, for different teams. And I think they sort of know what they're about, you know, their game, what their game is about. So I've no issues. Obviously, Maddison played in the same the 21 team as Solanke as well. So they've got good chemistry there. So with the front three, I'm not so bothered. I think that's our best front three. I think Odobert, I'll disagree with Ian here. Granted that Odobert hasn't really got that end product going yet, but you know that'll come in time. You know, as Ian said, he's 19. With every game that he plays, he will get better. You know, and progress in his game a lot better with only playing games. So he's the only one, Odobert, in the team, to me, that can take on his man to put Spear in the fullback. But it's just that little tweak in his game where he needs to fix up on his end product. But in time, that'll come.
Mark, your take on the front three, and then I'll go through the chat with you because we've got to start mentioning people in the chat. We'll go back, and then I'll let you call out the chat.
Oh, my goodness. Right.
Is my audio crap? Is it?
It's a
A
bit.
little bit croaky.
It's choppy.
Yeah, it's a bit sort of crackly, and
Let me see if I can sort that out.
well, that was better. That bit there.
So your take on the front three, and you go. I'll give
Well,
you
to
mine.
be honest, the front three, it's going to have to be swapped. It's going to have to be a bit of a mix and match anyway, because we're playing 50 odd games, or well, at least 46. No, 46. At least 48. At least 48. And so you can't tell me that the same three are playing all 48 games. Well, they haven't anyway, because we've had mix and match already. So we're going to have to get used to different players coming in and out, because players are just going to need a rest at certain like points. I mean, it's like there was a comment a few ago about Richarlison. I mean, your best ability is availability, and unfortunately, he's never available. You know, I mean, well, who was it said on here a few weeks ago? Rich Injardson, and I've stolen that, because in every chat now I put Rich Injardson in there.
Well, good job. All our players, I think, come home unscathed from their
Yeah. Oh, he's gone.
There was a few wins. So where do you want to start in the chat, Mark?
Wherever.
All right. Let's go back to Tony Coyers, yeah?
Yeah, he's come in. Hello, Tony. We've never seen you here before, but big yourself up, sir. There we go. Now, I did like this comment. What rebuild? It defies all football logic. We are in competition with 19 others who are also rebuilding and competing. We seem to refer as the build like a sabbatical. I couldn't agree more. And I've also said, I bet the hotel is finished before our rebuild is done. Right, completely agree. And Phil Odeberg is massively I agree with that. Massively overrated so far. Johnson, I've said this loads of times. Johnson is an impact player. Confident. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Completely.
I'm not sure, Mark. I'm not sure about overrated.
Yeah.
Well, no. All right, no.
I don't think he said he was overrated.
The expectations are too high.
Yeah.
Because we haven't had wingers who are taking on fullbacks, and Odegaard came in, and that and he likes to run at people, which is great.
He looked promising, didn't he? He looked promising.
You can you can see there's something there, but it needs working on. He's a rough diamond.
Yeah. He's like a lump of coal at the moment that we got to squash to make a diamond.
And I just think the expectations are too high, and I think it's because people are looking. And I mean, Johnson in his first season scored 4 or 5 and had 10 assists. And I don't understand the hate that the kid's got. He's come from Forest to Spurs. It's a massive, massive jump. Not just in club, the whole thing. You just walk into Spurs. It's like going to if you're working for a chocolate company, for a very small company, and then you go into someone like Mars or Cadbury's or Nestle. It's a much bigger situation. So I don't get, the guy made 10 goals last season. Give him a chance. Whether we should have bought him or not. I mean, I would never have paid 47 million for him. But this was Angie's number one target in the transfer window summer of last year. So
I think the biggest complaint with the one good thing with Johnson, and we're all hoping, is that Johnson has potential to have a much higher ceiling, whereas Werner's reached his potential. He's not going any higher at all, right? So Werner won't get any better, but Johnson has the potential. And the other critique, really, and even being fair, which isn't Johnson's fault. I mean, he comes in at fault. If the figures are true, at 47 million with all the add-ons, right? But for that, you would expect the player to be oven ready, wouldn't you, Ian? You would expect him to be
No, not necessarily. It's not
these days.
It's not a player's fault if a club put a certain fee on their head.
I
You
agree.
look at Annie for United. They paid what 80, 90 million for him. Look how he's done. Do you know what I mean? It's not always the price.
Yep. Darwin Núñez at 85 million. Is he worth it?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Right.
I mean, it's with Ange being his number one signing. If it is his number one signing, for me, that is worrying. For sort of talent ID, because there's better wingers than Johnson for 47 million out there, even less than that.
When you go
Quite
back,
possibly.
you find that weird sort of look, but Paratici looked at him because he was looking at Morgan Gibbs-White at the same time. And Paratici, I think this was like influenced by Paratici.
No, it wasn't.
It's a committee.
All Ange, this is.
Well, yeah, but it is a committee.
This was after he joined the club last July. This was his number one choice.
The only thing I'll say with Johnson is that I don't think he's a winger. He's not. He's a striker for me. I think that's probably why you see pretty mediocre performances from him, because he is playing out of position.
Yeah,
that's what I think,
Yeah.
Mark, do you want to go for these in the chat? What I'll do, I won't put them up in the future. What I'll do is we'll come back to the chat, and then so we haven't got to go for it twice, yeah?
Yeah, all right. Well, we apparently Solanke supported us when he was young, so we'll have a point to prove. Well, let's hope so. Yeah, I've heard those rumours, but I don't exactly know.
Now, there was an interview with him on this was going back a while, and he said that he supported us when he was younger.
Oh, was that when he was at Palace?
Before that.
I mean,
It was before that, when he was a kid, basically.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Ryan Giggs was Man City, Carragher, Fowler, Everton.
Yes, they were.
They're professional football players at the end of the day. I don't think that matters.
No. It's just that we see it as a bit harsh.
Yeah. We have a different perspective on it. Fans,
exactly. Rebuild and transfer windows and compete in the league. Granted, when you have a new manager to your club, it's like rebuild of sorts, but that is totally overridden by you are in competition. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Guys,
yeah.
He's a great guy.
Big up, Leo. Big up, Leo. Homie.
Yeah. Big up, Chris, for putting the links in.
Rich Hendrickson. Yeah, Rich Hendrickson.
Yeah.
Somebody said that on air, and I've stolen it. I forget who it was that said it.
Well done,
Peter
Kutagius. He's in Australia. He's a paramedic.
Yeah. He's he did put 4508, but then he changed it to 508. So big up, sir. And well done for everything you do. Yeah. It is. Overrated is the wrong word, but there was a lot of people in the shows that I watched that was like, oh, he's fantastic and all that. You don't know. He's 19. You got to give him a chance.
Yeah, big up, Matty. Anyway.
Big up, sir.
Chris Peters again, a mod.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, he's an impact. Yeah, Spud. That's harmless potato. Yeah, this is the comment I was waiting for. Ferdinand, Keane, Crouch, Pav, Defoe, Canute, Klinsmann, Kane, Nick Barmby, Berbatov, strikers. Where did we go wrong? Yeah, exactly. And there's probably some you missed off that list as well. I didn't see Defoe in there.
Well done, Chris, doing an excellent job, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fair comment as well. Yeah.
Big up, Nita.
Yeah, big up, Nita.
Those seem like older. I wasn't watching Tottenham when most of those guys were playing, but I can only for me it would be like in baseball or in football. I think about that. That's kind of a similar situation of us saying, well, back in the players back in the 80s and the 70s, they were better than the players today. They really weren't better. It's a very different competition than it is now. And I'm wondering, is it that they were just better, and if we put them in, if we had those players today, we'd be winning? Or has the game changed where it would affect their ability to play? Like, I hear things like and I see it's not as physical a game anymore. It seems like they call every single shove, every single, they call every single time, where it becomes almost like a non-contact sport.
You're correct there. You are correct there.
Has the game just changed where regardless of who's playing, it's just the game is different now than it was then? It
just, to me, it's just surprising, right? The game has changed like ballet on grass, is when I'm being really critical about it. But then you get these injuries as well. When it was AstroTurf, you got certain types of injuries, didn't you, on the turf? Like,
Burns and that one.
Now there seems to be people frightened of going hard, so it's more ankle injuries, the ankle tapping. That's why Musa Dembele got so many. They couldn't get the ball off him, and players like that you get. And another thing with the high press, if you noticed, what I noticed, let's have a little talk about this. There's no science on this. I'll tell you what I noticed going back, because
we'll answer the next comment in a minute then.
Right. When Poch was at Southampton, he introduced the high press. They come flying out the traps. Now, Southampton aren't a big club like Spurs, Man City, Man United, Arsenal, blah, 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 blah. They don't have the squads. They started picking up injuries doing the press, and they petered out. When we had the youngest team in the division, right, again, we introduced the high press, right? And for the first with the younger because of the younger players, you've got to have younger players to do it, I believe. And then then we started to pick up injuries, right? After a season or two. And Kane and Sonny were particularly taking it in turns to be injured and out, right? Then when Klopp, because it's the gegenpress at the end of the day, when Klopp was at Liverpool for a couple of seasons, they're okay. And then they're picking up injuries through the higher press. And City were the same. De Bruyne was because he's in midfield where the action is. You expect to get more kicks there. There's more happening. I don't know if that's just pure coincidence or whether if there's any science being done on it. I mean, it's not factual. It is in my mind whether a high press eventually is detrimental to a player's longevity in the game. I mean, I don't know what your guys' take on it is. I have a sneaking position. It certainly, alludes to some of these injuries we're seeing. Because you're running at speed to press people down. If you do win the ball, the other players that's where you seem to get more contact between players on the press when you're closing down or someone comes close to you. So that's just my theory on that. You guys got any comment on that at all?
The game has certainly changed. It's a lot faster than it ever was.
Jay Ashley, thank you for the question. Hi, Jim Paddy, what do you feel about Angie's position? We lose to Arsenal, crash at the League Cup. I'll be the same as I am now. I'm giving him to the end of the season. I mean, no matter what, because one, we can't keep binning managers, and two, like I want to see what he can do with, let's say, with a fitter squad and less suspensions than he had last year, because there was a lot of adversity last year. Now, you may be a fan who don't like the system. That's fair enough. I get that. It's fair enough, but I want to see the system, and I will be studying it. Don't worry about that this year. I mean, I want to see the system this year. I mean, I don't see two inverted fullbacks in this system. I see one in. Ellie's joined us. Hello, Ellie. I see one in Porro.
Hello, Ellie.
Hi.
Sorry, I've got my camera off. It's because everybody's gone to bed, and I'm in the bathroom, and I'm trying to be quiet. Right, I'm trying to be quiet because if I wake them up, I'll get daggers.
Right.
I do. Right, but what was you talking about just now?
I lost my train of thought now, Mark.
We were going through the chat, I think.
We're talking about the system, aren't we?
I get the fact that fans don't like the system. Yeah,
last year's back four appearances, when Vic was all 38, I think Porro was 35, Udogie was 30, Romero think he was 33, and Van der Ven was 27. So why is Mickey missed 11? Why has he missed 11 games?
He did the hamstring.
Because of the
It was
pressure.
an injury, right?
Yeah.
That's right. He wasn't suspended. He didn't miss any games through suspension.
Didn't he have
Yes.
hamstring problems before he came to Tottenham?
He had,
One,
he had one hamstring injury, I think, for Wolfsburg.
Yeah.
But the system that we play puts so much pressure on him.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he missed 11 out of 38 games.
But
So-
would he be recovering in a different system? He would still be recovering on the football pitch at certain points in the game,
He
but
won't have to make,
maybe not as much.
Phil, he won't be making 50-yard sprints.
Yeah. I get that.
Stretching at the end as well. You know,
Yeah.
if he's up against someone fast or someone's got a run on him and he's called him up, a lot of the time he has to stretch and clear the ball. That's
Yeah, but
what
someone's
He's using like the most out of him. Do you know what I mean? He's trying to get the absolute maximum out of Van der Ven, out of the maximum of his game. You know, with his speed. That's what it will do in the long run. I think it will, but
hang on.
he
He's
finds him so important to his system. You know, playing that way.
Well, it's suicide, isn't it? It's just
I
crazy.
was
I
You're not
think
giving the guy a chance, are you?
I've said the high line is, you know, it is too high. Just a couple of yards back, you know, maybe 3 or 4 yards back
yeah.
would be beneficial. But with the attacking side of our play, I don't think there's a problem with it. I just think that we haven't got the wingers in his system to you know, make it count in the game. We have multiple chances to kill games off, but we don't do it because we haven't got the quality in the forward areas.
Let me flip it, Phil. We score in virtually every game, don't we? There are very few games we don't score.
You're scoring at yeah.
Match. So if you're scoring, you're not conceding, you're winning games. Even if it's 1-0, it doesn't matter. So why risk everything? Why play a high risk game where it's built around one guy's pace? You're putting him under his. You know he's got hamstring issues, so you're putting him under strain, at risk the whole time. It's just madness.
On the defensive side of it, Ian, yeah, I agree. On the defensive side, I agree, but I think the way we play, you know, in the attacking third, I think it does. I think it makes sense, his system, but it's just we haven't got the quality players in the forward areas. That's why it ain't clicking at the moment. For me, Johnson's not good enough. Werner's not good enough. You know, Odebert, I think will be good in time, and I think Sonny is still there. But you know,
I agree with you, Phil. I agree with you, Phil. But it's a team game, right? It's not just the attackers. All great teams have had great midfields as well, right? Where midfielders score goals and wingers score goals and they chip in. Whereas our midfielders, they don't chip in with a lot of goals. They really don't. I mean, Basuma just scored his first goal for our club. That's how disgraceful it is.
All I'm trying to say, Ellie, is that the attacking side of Ange Postecoglou's style, it is the most important part of his system. That's what I think. I think the midfield.
I agree with you that it's the most important, but it's not the only thing.
It's not. I agree.
Start scoring from the wings. We haven't got wingers who are prolific, and we haven't got midfielders who chip in. Look, Maddison, I don't know how many goals he scored, but it wasn't that many. I think it was 7 or 8, I think, if I'm right. And
last year he scored 4, Ellie.
Yeah, all right, 4, that's even worse. And then Basuma didn't score all season, right? No. And Sarr scored 2, I think, or 3 maximum. That's not good enough. They're very good. They're very good ball players. They're ballers.
I might just jump in a minute.
On their game, when they're on their game, Basuma could be the best
midfielder,
but he's not consistent. He's not been consistent for us. So why didn't we move him on and get a better midfielder that can score goals? And get better wingers that can score goals.
Yeah.
We're letting the manager down big time by buying four players, all under 20, right?
Yeah.
And then we bought
Yeah.
a striker. All right, Solanke did play well last season for Bournemouth, but he's not proven. He's not a proven goal scorer over his career. He's not, right? And we've bought him on a risk, and we've paid a lot of money for him. And even Richarlison scored more goals than him. And we're putting down Richarlison. Richarlison in his career scored a lot more goals than Solanke. Right? And we're giving Solanke precedence over Richarlison. Right? I'm not saying Richarlison should play. Far from it. But we should have bought a striker that's got, like somebody with a track record of scoring, somebody who can put us up there with the Man Cities and the Arsenals. We're not going to compete, are we?
Yeah.
We're not.
All the signings that we made, right? First of all, if I can just jump in, Bobby, sir, Bobby K, if you're still in the chat, read your WhatsApp, please, sir. Big up, because I did say if you want to come on, I'll send you the link, but like
I've
I
got
don't know.
Bobby K's t-shirt on, Free Spurs Boys.
Have you?
Let's just go back to the
Really
point
put
that
my
Ian was
camera on.
raising about VDV, right, and hamstring
That's
injuries.
it.
Because
Look at that. Free
to
Spurs
me,
Boys.
when I look at it, it depends on how many of these very fast, like when the ball's over the top and he's got to catch up with the striker runs he has to do in a game, compared to where
He is still listening. I just 1 minute. He is still in the chat. He's just put, Bobby, read your WhatsApp, mate.
Yeah, come on, Bobby.
Depending on how
Oh,
many.
hang on, give me 10 minutes. All right.
How
Is
many
it all right if I
nominated-
send him a link? Is it all right if I send him the link?
Go on, send him a link. It depends on all. I'll be glad to have him on. We haven't had him on yet, I don't think. But yeah,
No.
how many normal interceptions you'd think at like the normal pace the player runs at? I mean, we don't know. I mean, this is another thing, you know. I was told in chats, well, you can't say that you think Bergvall and Gray are going to be good because you don't know. Fair enough. But you don't know VDV's going to do his hamstring either. You know, so you can always balance out an argument one way or the other, right? I mean, we all hope VDV stays match fit and that you've got the science team around them, like that they're doing their warm-ups at half-time, rubbing the muscles down, all this, that, and the other. We will see the way that pans out. But back to, unless Ian wants to come back at me now, it's fine, or we're carrying on this question.
Well, he missed 11 games. The proof of the pudding's in the eating. He missed more games, and we only played 9 games. That back four after Chelsea only played 9 games together out of 28.
Well, will he miss 11 out of 48 this season? You know he's going to be one of the core players that plays most of the games, aren't you, if he's fit? And usually with defenders, central defenders and goalkeepers, they don't, I mean, they might have to chase things down, but they don't do as much work as your fullbacks and your midfielders, you know, so like they don't do as much running.
I'll tell you something, Agent. Normally I'd agree with you, but in this system, Romero and Van der Ven put in, you know, the sprints they're putting in are much longer sprints. Yeah, they must be in the red zone after 60, 70 minutes. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
Well,
and then you're risking injury every game.
Well, this is where Millie Jedinek is up there with the press corps with his laptop, getting all the info. I mean, I don't know how they're working that system on them player sports bras that they wear under their shirts, how many kilometres they're running, whether they can tell.
You got chips in the elastic in the shorts.
Yeah, as well. Like so they're getting data on these players. And if there was an urgent thing now, I should imagine Ange gets the message down on the touchline. I don't know.
He does, but he can't afford to be without him, can he?
Yeah. Well,
we depend on his speed, right?
I'm sure these boys are playing through the red zone.
Well, I think it's a bit early in the season for that. With only 3 games in and we haven't played regular players. I mean, I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I mean, like, I just think it's all a bit too early. Early on this question, do you think Ange's job is on the record? You lose to Arsenal. It's a bad team to lose against no matter who's manager, isn't it? You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. No, I don't think he'll get fired if he loses to Arsenal. I think Daniel Levy likes him. That's one thing for sure, because he's not moaning about getting 3 18-year-olds and a 19-year-old. Apparently, he wanted them. But if I was manager of Spurs, I'd make bloody well sure that I'm getting 2 signature signings in, like most big clubs do. They always get 2 really, really brilliant players, right? And they can attract them because they're winning things. But we're not winning things, so we have to go to the lesser signings. Like, all right, Eze is a fantastic player, but no club other than Spurs. I think we were the only real club who like touted for him, and maybe Liverpool, but that's it. But what I want to see is he's not going to lose his job. That's one thing for sure. But what I wanted them to back him, and they didn't. They didn't. And if he says they backed him, he's lying. He's lying through his teeth, because they didn't.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. He's like everybody else. If you go into a job that's going to give you a couple £1 million a year, you're going to be a yes man. Because you're not going to come out like Conte and say, you know, it is the history of the Tottenham and all that stuff. You know, he's not going to call the board out. He's not going to call the board out whatsoever. When he gets asked the question, are you happy? And he's going to say yes. Because he's getting £2 million a year, whatever he's getting paid. You know, he's not going to say, no, I think it was awful.
His remit is to get us into the top 4.
Yeah, that's all it always is. That's all it always is. That's
all the club wants. That's all the club want. They're not the board, not interested.
They're not interested
Anything
in
other than the top 4.
No, I've been saying this since this channel started. Top 4 to Daniel is like us winning the league. That's all he wants. That's all he wants. Top 4, get the Champions League money rolling in. Anything else is a bonus. And to be honest, I've always said, if we win a trophy, it will be in spite of Daniel. Not because of him. It will be in spite of him. Because the manager would have had to go through all his nonsense of signing players that are good for the future.
Let's have your take on Angie's prospects this season. What do you think would be the worst case scenario for him to be given the golden boot?
What his expectations for this season, like himself?
Yeah, you want to win everything. So, like, if we went out, say by January, January, you get the first round of the FA Cup, usually first week. So we're out of that. We're out the League Cup, and now we're like the UEFA Cup. We're in the playoffs or something because we haven't made the top 8 best teams in the competition. Would you think his job would still be under threat?
I think he needs to get into the Champions League. I think that's one of the important expectations that Levy has on his head. But in terms of like winning a trophy this season, I think we can go far in the Europa League. I think we can go far in maybe the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup with a strong selection, not 10 changes. You know, we can still field a strong squad in these competitions and just kill games off early and then bring players on. Do you know what I mean? That's the way to do it.
I mean, if you look at the squad now, we all know there's holes in the squad. Left centre back, left back, which I was crying for.
There's going to be a rotation. There will be. Yeah.
I still don't trust Spence and others like him. That's just subjective, whether you like a player or not. He has improved in my eyes, but I want to see more. I want to see him improved defensively. But what I'm getting at is the reason I don't think we'll be weaker is because if you look at the squad now to the squad we had when we played Fulham away in the Coventry, in the Carabao Cup, there's no way we're going to field a weak team because I don't think we can field a weak team like the team we fielded at Fulham with the squad we got now. Do you?
Right. There's a few more on the chat. I got to say good evening to Colin's here. I've said hello to these. Spud's here. Mr. Kaufman's here. Big up Ben and Jose. Jose's in here as well.
Jose.
Good evening, Jose.
I'm just going to about this question. This question that's on here now in terms of the Arsenal game. it depends on the manner of the loss.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, if it's a 4-0 drubbing at our own ground and we get absolutely pummeled, then the fans are going to go mental. The fans are going to go mad.
A lot of booing.
Oh yeah.
I won't be
But
booing.
if you look at the whole picture, he needs time.
Not what I.
He needs time. You got to have a look at the whole picture. Really, it'll be 4 games in. So this Arsenal game isn't, you know, you shouldn't get the sack if we lose, but you know, it's a massive game, and you know, one that he needs to have a good performance in. You know,
Yeah, it'll be the manner of the defeat.
I reckon we played really well in that second half against Arsenal away as well. We played very well, and at home we really dominated the ball in the second half, and we gave Arsenal a game. It was unfortunate to lose 3-2, you know, but I thought we deserved to win that match. We had 3 errors where we just switched off at 2 corners. We were just, I don't know what our marking was.
They should have been disallowed, Ellie. All 3 goals should have been.
Really so bad, unbelievably bad. And the ball over the top to Saka. Yes, he took it well. Yes, he finished sublimely. But we left ourselves open. All they had to do is lob one over and he was in.
It's a normal story, though. It's the same story after every goal we concede. It's just one ball down the side, over the top, off you go. Thank you very much.
Can I just jump in on what Phil was saying about the Fulham?
Sure.
About Fulham.
What we're here for, Ian.
The team was
Oh my God.
Forster, Royale, Sanchez, Van der Ven and Davis, who are the only 2 left, apart from Richie. Skip, Hoybier, Solomon, Lo Celso, Perisic, Richarlison. That was your team against Fulham. Richie's injured, so he won't be playing against Coventry. Van der Ven and Davis obviously still at the club. The rest have all gone. Forster's nowhere. He may well play, but forget the goalkeeper. Talking about outfield players, you literally got 2 that may play in the same game.
Is anybody miffed about Richarlison always been injured? It's weird.
I don't even know what his injury is. I don't know what it is.
He's actually played for us, because a lot of the time when he came in for Kane, to give him, you know,
some playtime.
To give him a bit of credit and stick up from a little bit, he was Kane's understudy, wasn't he?
That's right.
He only got bit part comes on a substitution. You know he's always going to give you 100%. You can't fault him for that. When he had the injury problem, what I noticed, because I was watching him closely, I tend to pick one player out and watch them during the game when I'm at the ground. He looked tight and he didn't look right and all that. And then he come out late and said his injury. Then he said he got rid of his injury around his hip. He said it restricted him. And I'm wondering why are we playing these players in if they're injured, right? But at the same time, when he was loosened up, when he was fit, and he didn't have the psychological problems that he said he had as well, cleared his head and all that, he had a bit of a streak, didn't he, when he started scoring goals?
Yeah,
and then he got injured again. So
14 he got. Scored 14. 13.
Yeah.
So he got one against.
He got 10 in a purple patch, didn't he?
He looked good when he was at
10 or
Watford,
11.
which got him the move to Everton. When I don't watch other teams like I watch Spurs. I've got to be honest. I only watch him when they play us, basically. But when I've seen him play, I thought, yeah, he puts a shift in. He does well up front. He's not a lazy sod. You know what I mean? Things like that. And then we bought him, and I think we did buy him because there was an urgency to buy a striker because of the Kane situation. Oh, we're never going to get a striker and all that. Mm-hmm. So we got him in. He's not a bad footballer. Sorry?
There was a deal to be done. That's why we bought Richarlison.
Yeah.
There was an opportunity.
Evening, Bobby K.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening.
Big up, sir.
Yeah,
big up, sir.
We got him in. So, look, you don't come through all these academies, get in your team, get to Watford, get to Everton, play a striker for your national side if you're a bad player. It's just, we need to see a lot. He's one of mine this season. I put him, Werner, Basuma and Spence and Johnson. Well, I know Ange loves Johnson, so what he's doing in the training ground we're not seeing. But my Johnson hasn't been awful. It's just It's frustrating, is what he's been. And those
I
five,
think he's been awful.
well, fair enough. Well, those five have got the sword of Damocles hanging over their head for January. I mean, we've cleared out most of Deadwood bar Regulon if he goes for the last couple of weeks in the Saudi transfer window or the Turkish transfer window. There's even one of the Dutch windows is still open, I think, but he won't go there. So then most of the ones that most fans wanted out have gone, right? There's no excuses now. You've got to get the Deadwood out before we bring players in. And I believe there's money there anyway, because we didn't maximise our spending in this window. We only spent about 70 mil. There was at least enough. Where's my left back? You know what I mean? So, but no, I don't think Richarlison is as bad as some people make out. But he's got to do it.
But hang on a minute.
When he gets his chance this season, if he get, Solanke's going to be first pick. He ain't been bought for our most expensive player. And to be honest, I haven't really seen a lot of Solanke apart from videos, and I haven't seen a lot of Odegaard. I've seen much more of. Because I'd looked at Gray before this season, right? At Bergvall, I'd looked at him as soon as we linked, and I know that Jan Lang, because he's from that neck of the woods, that area that he'd looked at him. I couldn't tell you much about Solanke apart from what I've seen in the videos, So, or Odegaard. But
the one thing with Solanke is he's on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? With Richie at the moment.
He's not at the moment.
Inconsistency with him being on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? Because of his injury. So for me, I thought we needed another striker with Solanke who could play, in multiple positions in that forward area, but that didn't happen.
Right, true Bobby K, Cuva.
Right. Bobby K, welcome to the show, mate. Making your debut. It's been great.
Finally.
You and Coov on, but Coov's had issues and so we will.
I think he's sleeping again.
Yeah, so
I got him up this morning early. So.
Yeah, good show you did this morning. Anyway, I like
appreciate
Coov.
it. Thank you.
He's a man of reason, isn't he? He's a voice.
He
is.
I think he's just one of the most balanced people in the whole community. I really do. I'm not saying that just because he's.
So we were talking about the fact that. We know we've got
bad cough.
We know we've got two first choice strikers really that are going to play in Son and Solanke, but we're talking about the North London derby.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a concern? These others have been answered a question that our front three is not settled. We haven't really got a settled three, and even the two haven't worked well. Haven't been playing together yet. I mean,
well, it's kind of like. It's kind of like what Kuba said in our show earlier. At this point, without having the settled three, then why wouldn't it be the season that we give the youngsters a chance and see what they can do, throw them into the fire, instead of waiting years down the road and seeing what they're going to accomplish? If we're going to really kind of gamble with the season, then fully gamble. I kind of agree with Kuba. I'd rather see the youngsters lose than guys that we've spent this kind of money on that don't come in and aren't getting the service and stuff. It's kind of pointless having Solanke there if the ball's not going to get into him. What are we going to rely on Werner and Johnson to put the ball into the box?
I was fun enough. I switched on this morning. I had a couple of hours spare. I was away during a couple of weeks in August, so I take the Bayern Munich home game and I take the Leicester game, and just watch the chat regarding Leicester. And they put up Solanke's stats for last season. And his pressing and closing down as a centre forward was number one in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't count for anything if he doesn't.
No, that's
funny as well.
It's a major factor in Ange's play. That's the pressing at the front is a major factor in his play. Definitely. That's probably why he bought him. Along with his good season last season, his pressing is a major factor in why Ange brought him to the club. I think anyway.
Well, great. And you look at what Sonny did to Pickford against Everton, and that's what Solanke's going to be doing.
Yeah.
Well, when you look on that, guys, at the way we press, in his first three games, and I get the fact that the fan base, like me, should think we should be sitting on 9 points, right?
Yeah, definitely.
In our 3 games, we have pressed in total, compared to the whole of the Premier League, 68% of the games. It is the highest possession rate of any team in the Premier League. Believe it or not, Southampton was second. I think then it was Man City. and Liverpool and someone else are in the 4th or 5th position.
Mm.
I mean, I watched us playing those games, and when we had a change in midfield because Basuma was taken out because he was a naughty boy, then he was brought back in. Front three changing all the games. It's changing all the games. Decky played through the middle. Son played through the middle. Solanke played through the middle. The wingers were switched. Now we gave away shocking goals and we missed chances, but our actual possession, our play. I mean, something's working from the training ground because I can see where we worked on free kicks. I can see we've worked at defending free pieces. Doesn't mean we're going to stop them all, but we won't concede 14. I hope not like last year. You know,
Adrian, there was an article in the Athletic last week, I think, where they talked about Spurs possession and the attacks they've had so far this season, and I think they've had more shots than any other club.
Yeah.
And the finishing is the finishing is some of the worst.
Yeah.
So forget about the possession means nothing. It's pointless. Possession means nothing.
Yeah.
I watched Gary Brooks play.
Yeah, I was going to say. I was just about to ask. Is that the same Gary Brooks who used to play for us?
No, you're talking about the footballer Gary Brook.
Oh, that's yeah. You got to remember, I'm a simple country person.
I watched him play. Yeah.
So there's no point having 70% possession every game if you're not winning. It's pointless.
No, true. This is why I mentioned.
I'll take 30% possession and more goals.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, you take that. I'd take 10% possession as long as we won.
I remember looking at possession stats for the first time when Danny Rose scored that great goal in his debut against Arsenal. We won 2-1 and we had 33% possession. And my coach at the time said, well, that's possession means nothing. It's all about goals.
Yeah. Goals win you games.
So 49 touches in. That's right, Eddie. 49 touches in Newcastle's box against 14.
Yeah.
All sounds very impressive, but who won the game?
Yeah.
We had 6 shots on goal. They had 3. They scored 2, and Vic had to make a save for the 3rd from Murphy. So it's meaningless.
But you were also brought up when it worked both ways, Ian, like me, because I've been brought up on attacking football and glory and trophies, which a lot of fans haven't been, right? And that's what I like to see. I'd rather watch Ange ball with risks, right? And I'm still undecided on it to the end of the season, than bringing managers who I don't think share the club's DNA, no matter what their record is, like Conte and Mourinho, you know, because to me, if they've got great records, you know, they're classed as world-class managers, but where it falls down with me, only my personal opinion, is the fact if you're a world-class manager, you should be able to play attacking football.
You know, if you haven't got the players to defend, Adrian.
Well, we also picked up a lot more yellow cards and stuff defending, like, because when you're defending all that,
I don't care about yellow card. What is it? What do yellow cards mean? Who cares?
Well, they add up to suspensions, don't they?
But I must tell you something. I'd rather have suspensions than watch our team getting ripped to pieces like we were last season.
Right. So I've always said there's been a lack of aggression in the team, but when we play a higher line, you've noticed that. When's the last time Romero's got a yellow card? How many yellow cards does he pick up now?
Because it doesn't correlate.
It does. If you read the game well like he is and you're a good defender, you can outrun them. If you're playing a low block and you're having to make tackle after tackle under a low block system before you have a quick break, then there's more chances mathematically that you're going to get a yellow card or make a bad tackle and get a yellow card than playing this system. I mean,
I disagree.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. I mean, I ain't got a problem.
He didn't get booked, did he? You never saw more clattering into players, and he wasn't fast. It's all in the head. It's all in the head. That's where Romero's strong. But we cannot play this suicide kamikaze high line and expect to win any trophies. And at the end of the day, everybody gets cheesed off. It's another year and another year and another year. And it's 16 years. And it's going to be another 16 years if it carries on like this.
Bobby.
Yes, sir.
Don't you falling asleep on us, mate? Right. So
no, I'm still getting over.
The others have all given us their team. They've given us their team for the North London derby. Give us your team, the team that you think Angie's most likely to pick for this North London derby.
I think the back five is pretty much set, so we don't need to work there. I think Basuma's still got a bit of a chip on his shoulder, and let's face it, he did well for 10 games last season before he dropped off. So let's hope he can give us at least 10 solid games. So I'd like to throw him in there. I don't know what's going on with Bentancur. I know he's coming off that injury, but one thing I said to Kuba earlier was I also feel that there's some sort of maybe issue behind closed doors with his inappropriate comments in the offseason regarding Sonny and his behavior. So that might have caused a bit of an issue. Who knows? Even if Sonny's kind of forgiven and forgotten, there might be other elements in there that the club feels that it was inappropriate. Don't know what's going on with that. Sarr, he's got a lot of pace. That's about it. He seems to be running around a lot. But I think the bigger issue is who do we have up front to put the goals in the back? Does Sonny start on the left where he just seems to be getting more and more ineffective, as bad as it is to say, and as much as it pains me to say? You're off? Okay, brother. Is Solanke going to be fit?
Yes.
Yeah, he'll be available.
See the nods over there. Thank you. So he'll be in. He should be. There's no reason for him to not be starting then. Sorry, the family's leaving. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm on a show, dude. I'm sorry, folks. Solanke up front, and then the problem is who plays out on the right. It pains me because I'm kind of one of those Johnson happy clapper backers, and I thought that he would come good this season, but he just doesn't seem to be doing much at all over there. He's looking like a very, very poor investment, which we seem to have made a lot of over the last few years. There's arguments being made that, well, we spend this money on this player, we spent this money on this player, but it doesn't matter how much you're spending if they come in and they're not effective in the team and they're not able to follow the plan that needs to be kind of put forth. If they don't fit into the manager's plan and do everything they want, it doesn't matter who we buy. It doesn't matter if they're from the Champions level or if they're from Real Madrid themselves. These guys got to come in and slot right in, and Johnson doesn't do that. Do we have anybody else that can go there and slot right in? Can Bergveld play out wide? I believe he has before. Do we try him there? It's
the only other one is Kulu, isn't it?
But then we're frustrated with his pace, his ability to hold the ball and actually bring players in is great.
Yeah.
But then what do we got? Who are they going to have? Is Timber's healthy? So they're going to have an effective left back over there. They're going to have a pacey left back as well. It's really a tough call. I think it's safe to say all of us aren't expecting much out of this game. It's especially after seeing the first 3 games of the season. We saw what happened with Newcastle. Like one of you were already saying, 48 chances and 1 goal. That's what is that? A 0.5% scoring rate?
No, 49 touches in their box. We had 20 shots, 20
shots.
6 off target, 8 blocked. But how many saves did the keeper make? 2 or 3?
Not many that I had to go, oh my God, wow, what a save.
Yeah.
That goal. Most of them were shanked wide or opportunities just kind of lost and thrown away.
This is the issue. Right? This is the issue where we get in good, positions on the pitch and we get good chances, but we just don't put them away. I guarantee if you had City's forward line or Liverpool's forward line, like Diaz, Salah, in them positions, guaranteed we get more points every game. Do you know what I mean? Or a Harry Kane, but that's long gone now. That's done. But we have to have better quality players in the forward areas for this system to work.
Okay, so let me ask everybody this then: would it have been better for us to kind of not buy Solanke and invest the money on wingers?
Well, I've got to say, I've spoken to 1 or 2 people who have contacts with ex-pros, and the ex-pros rate Solanke very highly. So I'm very confident, having heard what I've heard in the last couple of weeks, I'm very confident that Solanke will do the business for us.
I think he'll step up.
I like him.
Yeah,
I think he'll step up. I honestly think he'll step up, but he's just unfortunate that as soon as he met our medical staff, they kicked him in the leg or something, or done something to him.
It's just what
service he's going to get. What service is he going to get from the Wiz? That's the one question we got to ask. You know.
Again, that's an issue, isn't it? You know, it's going to take time. Whenever you bring new players in, you can't turn around after 3 games and say it's settled.
Yeah.
Or settled
100%. Yeah.
You know, a team evolves over a season. You know, you only have to bring it down to like a World Cup or a Euros. You know, teams evolve over 6, 7, 8 games. You know, the team you start with isn't necessarily the team that you finish with. So I think it's unfair to say, you know, it's difficult. You know, we've had injuries. You know, Slanky's missed 2 of the 3, which is unfortunate. It's just one of those things. He took a kick, and he's missed 2 games. If he hadn't got the kick, he'd have played all 3, and so would Son.
Yeah.
The thing
We
is,
probably would see even more injuries with the suicide type football we play.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen, right? They're going to burn themselves out. Mickey Van de Ven making those long runs. There's just no way that it's sustainable over a full season. You know what I mean?
I agree. That's my concern with him.
Was it your chat earlier, Bobby? Was it your chat earlier, Bobby, that I put a comment in? I guarantee that Van de Ven will pull a hamstring.
Does his hamstring? Yep.
Yeah. I put that in your chat earlier, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did. Yeah.
It's virtually 100%. You know, because the way we play and all these runs he's got, 50, 60-yard runs he's got to make, last-ditch tackles, he's going to do.
Well, Mark, I broke it down even simpler than that. How many times through the Olympics do you see 100-meter sprinters run more than 1 race in a day?
Well, you don't. Well,
you're expecting this guy to literally run that and do that 6, 8, 10 times in a game?
Did you hear about Usain Bolt? When he won his gold medal somewhere, he had chicken nuggets or something. He said, I got up, had chicken nuggets, went and won the gold medal, and then went and got some more chicken nuggets. That's how good he was.
Yeah.
He's
also
running
10 seconds, not 90 minutes.
Are you saying if he ate chicken nuggets, you wouldn't pull his hamstring then, Mark, yeah?
Well, possibly. Well, especially if you had him over
Welcome has on board. We're discussing the North London derby. We're actually discussing. We got to the defence, but we were actually discussing the front 3 and whether it was a concern that we haven't got a settled front 3. Your team, and what would your front 3 be? We've all had to go out picking our own team.
Well, we lack quality up front, so this is what makes it difficult. So I assume Slanky is not going to play, or he's going to play?
No, he'll play.
I think he's fit.
Thank God for that.
But then I do think we have an issue with Son, because I think he's better in the middle. If it was me, I'd change the formation, but he's not going to do that. So, so I guess your front line has to be Son, Odegaard, and Solanke. It can't really be anyone else.
Well, it could be Johnson.
Yeah, I'm not going to play Johnson. He's better off the bench anyway. So
depends on what Ang sees in training, because we haven't seen enough of the front 3. You know, if there's a good synergy between those 3 or another 3. I mean, because we've seen Odegaard on the left, haven't we? So Sonny should play on the left, in my opinion, anyway. I mean, he's done well on the right. What in the desk days of Delhi, when Delhi was banging in 16 from midfield, you know, and you had Son, Kane, and Eriksson, right? Son did play on the right-hand side and score goals at times, right? On the right. But so he could play on the right, although I doubt it. I think he'll play on the left, which means that you then be picking Johnson or Odegaard on the right. Now, Ange might just think that Johnson's better suited on the right, more suited than Odegaard, although he played him on the right against Newcastle.
But Adrian, isn't this the problem, though? You know, you asked us all to do this team. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude here. I'm just this is a question I'm asking you, kind of. You asked us to do our all of us, and I think it's safe to say everybody picked the same back 5, right? With the goal.
Yeah. I mean,
that shows you none of us sitting here could guess the front 6. Yet you look at the other top 4 teams, even the top 6 teams, and you can pretty much guarantee 80% of the time you know who that starting 6 is up front for them. But we don't have that.
Fine. If you think
anger some fans have in the fact that there's no direction, that we're not sure where we're going or what we're really doing.
I get that, but if you take Liverpool, have got off to a flyer, right?
But Liverpool
Last
have a
season,
team,
if you take some of their front three. I didn't see all their games, so I didn't know who their front three was, right? I was not impressed with Darwin Núñez last year. And Diaz looked good. Like I've always said on many podcasts, where are we getting 90 goals from? I'm in agreement with the fact that we're playing with two wingers. They've got to chip in with goals. I don't care how flashy the winger is. I said, I don't care if you've got Messi on one wing and Ronaldo on the other. If they don't score goals, I don't want them in my side because we're never going to win nothing if the wingers don't score goals.
I don't care if they don't score goals, to at least set them up.
Yeah.
We're not even doing that. I'm sorry, everybody loves Son, but Sonny is not the typical guy that kind of crosses the ball into the box.
He's not the same player he was.
No, he's not.
I look at our squad and I don't see somebody that's going to be able to push the ball up and put the ball on Solanke's head.
True.
Sonny now is ineffective on the left. That's my opinion.
Right wing.
But with Son, what you've got, you can criticise him for everything. What you can't take away from him is his strike rate. He's got 16 goals last season, more than anyone else.
Adrian, he was playing up front. He wasn't playing on the left wing.
But he'll still get the goals. You know he's going to get the goals. And he's got 2 this season already. Right?
But he was playing up front, Adrian, in that game.
And he's the only striker who can score with both feet because I haven't seen enough of Solanke yet. I'll take it on advice that like people like him, he's good and he'll fit the system, right? We know that. And he should score goals under handball. If you can't score goals under handball, the chances you're going to get, then you're never going to score goals. But, I mean, we keep going back. Son's not the problem, guys. Son will score goals. It's Werner, it's Johnson, it's Odegaard.
It's the wingers then, isn't it?
Well, yeah, we need wingers that score goals. We don't know. Look, they may have breakout seasons this year. I hope they do, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Solanke's going to play. He's going to be our number one striker, right? Yeah. So Sonny will be on the left. He'll be playing on the left this season, majority of the games. If Solanke's injured, then Sonny will go up top, or Kudu will play there as a false 9. But we have to accept that Sonny is going to be playing on the left if Solanke's up front.
But it doesn't mean be effective, though.
I think he is effective every game, but I wouldn't say it's consistent. But he is effective. I wouldn't say he's not effective.
Well, how effective is he then? If he's not effective consistently, if you don't,
he still scores goals from that position. He hasn't played up front all season.
16. I think.
No, but that wasn't off the left though, was it? Or were we playing up front last season the majority of the time?
Well, it mixed up. I didn't think it worked against the low block. Well, then you'd have to look at
the majority of games, though.
I haven't got that in front of me, whether he scored more goals through playing through the middle or more goals on the left. But he got 16 goals. That's what counts to me. That's the stat I'm interested in.
I think he got like 2 off the left or something, from what I remember.
Well,
then you simply got to get more this season. There we go. No problem.
Got, like, the rest of his goals, like 14, probably at least 10 of his goals, if not more.
I mean, how shit is that we're talking about? You know, fitting these sort of players in. You know, Sonny's not doing this. Solanke, you know, will he do this?
What I'm saying is, you
won't. At the end of the day, we should Levy. All I'm saying is, like, we should have had better forwards come in transfer window. We wouldn't be even talking about this right now if we had better players in them forward positions. Wouldn't. If we had better options, then we wouldn't be talking about this.
Well, we've got 2 number 9s now. Ian, come to you. We've got 2 number 9s now, and Solanke and Richarlison. That's without Lancashire, who's going to be part of the squad. He'll get some game time this year. So I don't see Sonny playing through the middle unless we've got a horrendous injury list with our number 9s now. I just don't see it.
I agree. I mean, you look at the players. You got Solanke, Richarlison, Lancashire, but Ange doesn't like the kids, unfortunately, which I think is going to be a problem for him. Yeah. For me, you've got those 3. You got Johnson can play centre forward, Son can play centre forward, Werner can play centre forward as he did for Leipzig. So there's no shortage of number 9s at Spurs.
There's a shortage of quality number 9s, though.
They're not creating. Well, sorry, they're not finishing, should I say?
Yeah.
We're making the chances. I mean, Solanke could have got a hat-trick at Leicester.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fault him for his first game, though.
No. That was his. I was just about to say that. That was his first game.
Because you know, you can't score every time, and players miss, and you know, there were some games that, you know, Kane didn't score every game, you know, and we're not going to find anybody remotely close to him. So it's not a criticism, but the chances are there, and we're not taking them, and that's the problem. You know, our XG rate is probably, you know, I don't know, in terms of chances missed, we must be higher than most clubs in the Premiership for the first 3 games.
But isn't that a good kind of indication of what to expect in terms of opportunities created? Because the more you create, the more likely they are. Hopefully someone will start going in. Things will start to click once we kind of settle that front 6, the middle and the front.
That's a good point, Bobby. And isn't it, you know, an indication that Ange's system is actually working, you know, in the attacking phase of play, where we are chances, we are getting big chances, but we ain't putting them away. So it's just the defensive side of it. If he actually just drops the back 4 yards, I think this system can work. It's just little tweaks in his system that he needs to change. But
stop that.
It doesn't seem like we're willing to give him the time to do that.
I think the midfield three.
That's no, Bobby. We need to give him time, a year and a half in the job. At the end of the day, like, that's nowhere near enough time for a manager to.
I agree. You know me. I'm deluded happy clapper over here.
I want to discuss the forward line and the back in your teams. I want to talk about our midfield.
That's why you were invited on, Bobby.
Yeah, Ange can make plenty of permutations with the players he's got for midfield. You know, you've got even with you've got Bentancur, Basuma, Sarr, Maddison, Gray, Bergvall, even Decky. That's 7. So you can make lots of permutations of having 3 in midfield there. I mean, last season, to me, I'll start off, I thought we were weak. We buckled. We didn't help the defence because our midfield buckled. We stemmed the flow. Somehow we got 5th in the league. I mean, like, Højbjerg at the time and Skip did help. They did as best they could for us. But we needed a bit more in there because we should have finished 3rd, in my opinion, last season. With the points.
That was needed, Adrian. That was unnecessary. That was unnecessary, though. You shouldn't have brought up poor Ellie. Look at her; she's got a tear.
No, I'm not. No, but I'm saying, but even the midfield would have been helped if we finished our dinner up front. We missed 30 big chances. Yeah. If we'd won 1 or 2 more games, we'd have finished 3rd, not 5th.
No, Adrian, we were 15 points behind Liverpool.
Yeah, but where were they?
That's 5 games, not like
3rd. 14 points. We had 68, Liverpool at 81.
5 wins short then. If we're doing the maths, it's 5 wins.
We're well short of Liverpool.
We were the 5th best team, 100%. We weren't the 3rd best. We weren't the 4th best. We were the 5th best.
I disagree.
As I said on the show the other day, when we were top after 10 games, to finish 5th is a disgrace. Because 90-something percent, I think it was 94% of teams
we broke Premiership records.
No. Yeah. 94, I'm sure it was 94% of teams that are top after 10 games get top 4.
So that being said,
Bobby, if everyone's fit in midfield and everyone's on their top form, who's your preferred 3?
For me, my preferred 3, honestly, in top form would be Sarr, Basuma, and Maddison. But I'm talking about, like you said, exactly in top form, fully ready to go. Because I think
he played that combination have a lot 3 times pre-season. He played that. What about you, Hez? What would be your best 3? We'll come through all of you.
Bentancur, Sarr, and probably Kulusevski, actually.
Over Maddison, okay. Ellie, what about your best 3?
Yeah, I'm not playing Maddison, not consistent enough.
Okay.
Rubbish.
No, but listen to what Adrian said, Ellie. Top form, in form, fully.
I'd play Bentancur, Sarr, and Basuma. Those 3. Even though Basuma has been inconsistent, he's still done a lot more.
I mean, Ange's going to have to find several blends throughout the season just for rotation.
I just don't like.
What do you think?
I've gone off him.
What's your best 3? Can you hear us?
Yeah, Bentancur, Kulu, and Maddison. That's our best midfield. Kulu brings you know, a lot to us. I think he can hold up. He carries the ball well. Maddison, if he's at peak, then he gets 20 GA a season for me. And then you've got Bentancur, where I think he's underrated as a player, but he's just inconsistent because of injuries, which is a shame. But I think he's a quality midfielder.
Yeah.
Top of the game, you said? They're at their
Peak.
They're doing their best, and they're healthy.
Yep. Top form.
Top form. Basuma, Bentancur, Madison. I think top of their. They just haven't. Madison hasn't been top of his game, but I think those three top of their game, difficult to beat.
Yeah.
Ian, you're through.
Well, I'll give a top three now and a top three that I think will finish the season.
Go on.
I think if you're talking about the three players at their peak, then I think Bentancur is number one. And I think Basuma and Maddison at the moment. I think Sarr's not done it for me this season. And I think by the end of the season, and I'll put my number up, I think it will be Bentancur, Gray, and Bergvall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If the two kids are given a chance,
That would be great.
then I think they'll take those positions.
I actually really like that.
I think they're two quality players.
Yeah.
Especially Bergvall. I love him.
Yeah.
I actually think Bergvall's going to be playing in probably 4 or 5 games. I think it'll be a regular in there, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But
Mud Mark, I'll give you mine after Mark. Go on, Mud Mark.
Right. On peak form, 100% form, it's got to be Basuma, but you got to give him a balloon before the game.
There's no laughing at him.
Never worked.
Give him a couple.
Archie's stealing my line. I said that earlier.
Oh, did you?
Steve,
Oh,
you're
sorry.
wonderful.
Give me in the dressing room.
No, Basuma, Bentancur, and Maddison in peak form. But the only trouble is Maddison drifts in and out. It's like is it David Clark, the guy who says hi from Leicester?
Yeah.
When we signed him, there was a show I was watching or I was on. He put in the chat, "You'll get Maddison. He'll be good for a dozen games. Then he'll get injured. Then he'll drop off, and you won't see him for the rest of the season."
What happened?
I
Yeah,
remember
it was. It was. It was in the chat. I don't know whose show it was, but that's exactly what happened. So I mean, I agree with what Ian said. Like, especially Bergvall. Bergvall's look very promising, but he's still young. You don't know. But
Yeah,
I
we
can see
need
Bergvall
we need some.
playing.
And I hope the fans they probably will be because they're young players. I mean, they can't be on the B list for the Europe because they've got to have done 2 years with the academy before you can go on the B list. That's why they're not on it. My first pick, if everyone was fit, would be Bentancur. I think he's a very I think he's a superb footballer. I really do think he's superb. He's got it all. Drives us up the pitch, got it all, got the bite, got the aggression. I wish some of the other midfielders, I wish Sarr, who's got loads of potential, who's got high ceiling, needs to have a bit of bite to his game.
Yeah, he needs a bit more composure on the ball.
I think he's okay. There. I just think to me, it's like show us a bit of aggression. Don't, because at times he does good things. I mean, like away at Villa when he goes down the wing and he crosses for Maddison to score the first goal and things like that.
Yeah.
So
he needs to get a bit of Vieira inside him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Arsenal,
if he's on top form, you'd have to pick Madison's quality when he's on form.
When
Someone's
though?
open the defence up. I mean, like you got to pick him, and a player who, if he does it for me, he can go next season. But I'd put him in would be Basuma. I mean, because he has got it, But it's question is the dedication, and like stop being the party animal regular on others. You know what I mean? So that'd be my best.
Madison was on a golf channel that I watched. The video got released today, but it was filmed before the season started.
Yeah,
But he's like more into his darts and golf, and he likes snooker as well because I've seen him on Stephen Hendry's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
No, change his name to Gareth Madison.
Football.
Yeah.
That's what he should do.
Well, as long as it can
Get
get
on
us
that
out of the
football
spookers
pitch
if we
and
get into
practice
during the
your
game, you know what I
shooting.
mean, then we'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'd say to Maddison, get on that football pitch and practice your shooting, get fit, because he's not 100% fit yet. You can see it. He runs out of steam after 60 minutes.
Right. Let's move on to what I wanted to ask you all, right? Individually, pick a North London derby game, one of your favourites, anyone, all right? Before we move on to the next subject. Just, I'm not asking you to pick a goal or nothing like that. Just pick a victory, any victory that you was at or that you watched. Come on, you're always predicting we lose games, so like you can start. And you were late. You were late again.
You party pooper has.
Danny Rose on his
2-1,
debut.
yeah?
2-1 game, yeah.
Ellie?
When we beat them 2-1 when Gareth Bale and Aaron Lennon scored. I loved that game because I loved Gareth Bale went right up to the camera and went, ah!
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
2013.
Yeah, that was that would have been a year. He left, one of them, either him or Modric left in 2012 or 2013.
That was the AVP one, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Alan, from across the pond and your experience of being a Spurs fan, which is great to have us. Great to have you.
Probably the last time we beat Arsenal, which I think was under Conte in 2022, 2023 when we went 3-0.
Yeah.
It was a real must-win game because we were trying to make fourth.
You should have been there. You should have been in that stadium.
Brilliant that game. He did. Højbjerg played out of his skin that game.
They bricked it, even after the whole gate got sent off. But they were nervous when they came out anyway on the pitch. You could tell they were crapping.
He's gone, Ellie. He's gone, man.
I know he's gone. Don't worry, I'm moving to Marseille.
You got to move on. We can get you therapy, Ellie. Don't worry. We can get you therapy.
Yeah, I've seeked it already. Don't worry.
Phil, give me a victory against the scum. Come on.
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't attended North London derby before, but one, obviously I watch them all the time, but one was has spot on. The Danny Rose one was quality. That's the one I fondly remember anyway.
That's
just because it was his debut. Do
you remember the cat memes that came out when Danny Rose scored the goal?
Yeah.
It's funny, man.
I thought it was Zuma or something for kicking the cat and all that.
Brilliant debut and what a strike! Couldn't have hit it more sweeter. Do you know what I mean? And against the Scum as well.
And he ran to Harry Redknapp, and Harry Redknapp pushed him away.
Yeah, get back on the pitch.
Yeah.
Bobby K, pick up North London derby, a particular favourite. All the wins are favourites with me, but pick one.
Not the one you went to, by the way.
I was going to say, actually, I already had Alan kind of steal my answer over there with the previous game, the first North London derby at home in front of fans at the new stadium where they just smoked them 3-0 because the scenes from that game from the fans is what inspired me to basically give up all my holidays for the following year and bring my sons over there and come for the next NLD.
As I should have mentioned this earlier, these were the scenes taken from that game. Right?
Arsenal get battered everywhere they go. Arsenal get battered everywhere they go. Everywhere they go. Arsenal get battered everywhere they go. Arsenal get battered everywhere they go. Everywhere they go.
We have more of those.
But there's that's right there, what you just showed me, Adrian. And then I saw the videos of with the flares in the streets and everything, the way the fans were walking up to the stadium with the white and blue flares being shot off everywhere, and that lily white army walking towards all those scenes were just like, you know what, I've got to get over there. And how perfect was it that the next NLD ended up being on Little Kay's birthday that we got over there. Unfortunately, we did not get to sing that song. It was dreadful. Like I would have been happy. I think, well, happier. It was still a great experience.
You enjoyed the experience of
100%. I got to meet so many wonderful people. I got to get to Ellie's house and meet her lovely husband and eat Ellie's famous mac and cheese. For any of you in England, make sure if you're ever near Ellie's, get over there. Yeah. Sorry, what was that?
Ian, pick up North London derby. You must have been into loads like me. So,
well, that season Arsenal only won. They only lost one game in the league to Chelsea, and we hammered them at Wembley in the FA Cup semi-final in '91. And for me, that was magnificent.
Odd Mark.
Now, I told you before we come on out, I've been to 2 North. I went to the '92 charity show that was 0-0, and I went a few years later to White Hart Lane, the old White Hart Lane, and we beat them 2-1. But I was frantically Googling, and you press the live button, so I didn't have a chance to find out when it was. But we were 1-0 down. We were 1-0 down and 1-2-1, and I was right at the back of the East Stand.
Nice
And honestly, I can't remember what happened yesterday, let alone like 25 years ago.
I'm gonna
surprised you remember what happened this morning.
No, definitely not.
I'm going to pick our record goal scorer, Harry Kane, because he scored more goals against Arsenal than any other Spurs player, isn't he? And I'm going to go for a more simple game, the 1-0 at Wembley when he scored. You remember Lacazette missing right at the end of the game when Wenger was manager?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Lacazette.
No, it was Aubameyang missed it. We saved the penalty. That game was all about.
That was the 1-1.
That was the 2-2. That was the 2-2, wasn't it?
Sorry.
I like expressions he called Lacazette.
Reece saved the penalty, keep it 2-2. Otherwise, we would have lost. This was the 1-0.
Was it the Kane header from Davies' cross? Is that?
Yeah, he scored. He scored the header. Davies
could do nothing.
Davies done a beautiful cross on the head.
Headed it onto the other side, didn't he? Yeah.
The one when Harry Kane scored with the mask.
Yeah, where he rips the mask off.
Right.
One of the first NLDs I ever got to watch was, I think it was like, geez, it's got to be around 2000. It's got to be over 20 years ago. It was that big 5-1 win we had.
Yeah, in the
way back.
League Cup semi-final.
In the League Cup.
I
League
can't
Cup
remember it. I
semi-final.
just remember that's when we started kind of, football was getting more and more popular and it was accessible here. We were able to watch it on TV without having to go to a pub specifically or something. So I remember I got together with cousins of mine and they're all Arsenal fans. So that, just sitting in that room, watching the tears shed. And while I sat there and just, I wanted to bring out floaties and just chill because it was like being in a swimming pool of all their tears and it just made it that much better.
You just sat in the corner smoking a cigar.
That's it, baby.
The Dele Alli flick over. The Dele Alli flick over. Was it Peter Cech who was playing for Arsenal then? A little flick over the keeper. Harry flicked it over, put a long ball over the top. And
that was at the Emirates. The Dele Alli goal.
Yeah, that was at the Emirates.
I watched that goal.
Below, Bale scored against Arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it came up on Instagram. Dele Alli's goal against Arsenal. That was such a brilliant goal. He's
brilliant goal.
Calm and collected, isn't he?
Little flick over the keeper.
Harry Kane scored some fantastic goals against Arsenal. Harry Kane scored some worldies. The one where it come over and he just headed it back the way it came from. He just like rose like a salmon in the box.
Did he mean it? You know the one where he ripped the mask off when he's come out on the left wing and he's pulled one in and it's gone right in the top corner, isn't it? And he ripped the mask off and run like.
Yeah. And there was the other one where the ball comes over and he heads it back the way it come. And it went right in the top corner.
Was that the Bentley one across there?
Possibly, yeah. He just rose like a salmon.
First season.
Brilliant. I love how
somebody's going to turn up. Somebody's going to turn up Sunday and get a brace. You watch, mark my words, man. Clip it.
Not if he's playing off the left. He's not going to do
it.
No. Harry bringing that positivity again.
Even in the derby, if you look at the derby where he scored the actual brace at the Emirates, he was playing up front.
Right, we've got a subject now that will off the NLD until we get to Friday, and we'll probably go over a bit of it again. Our second subject is one that has been manifesting deep in the souls of Spurs fans for a few years now. Want to talk about Spurs' future owner or investor? Why would a multi-billionaire or multi-billionaire organisation want to invest in Tottenham Hotspur or buy the club outright? Whether an investor or new owner are a better option for the club, or will either be able to make much difference under the new SCR squad cost ratio rules.
Okay, I'll start on that one.
Go, well, yeah, you can go on that one. Yeah, doesn't matter.
Tottenham is the best turnkey operation to buy in the Premier League. Ground is complete. Training ground is complete. It's all there.
Young players are there. They're going to have future resale value.
Why wouldn't somebody come in and buy the club? It makes money.
Why wouldn't you want to buy a business that was purchased for 30 million and is now worth 7 billion?
Well, first, you're never going to get anywhere near 7 billion.
It's not 7, right? Well, the way it works in firms and all that, they value a business on 5 times your turnover. So if you've got 5 times 5.5, 550 million, that would value the club at 3.75 billion. So that is realistic, Bobby Case.
That's where MSP values it at.
Yeah. So
regardless, 30 million to 4 billion, 30 million to 1 billion,
220 million. There've been quite a few share issues.
Ian, what you just said there, Levy ain't going anywhere.
Unfortunately, he's not going anywhere.
You know, what you just said, it just explains everything that Levy's doing.
Why would he?
We are stuck with a chairman who has no interest in winning trophies. Nothing. Zilch interest. It's only about making a profit. That's it.
It's like you said already. It's the best business model available in England right now.
Correct, by a mile.
Easily.
So there's your reason why another businessman, because you're talking money. If you're talking
money, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
If you want somebody that's going to come in that wants trophies, then they're going to look at Liverpool. They're going to look at Man City. But when you look at those clubs, you're also looking at what their wage packets are and how much money they're spending as well. We're significantly lower in our spending. So the profit margins are significantly higher. So like you said already, if it's a businessman, then this is the best.
Then you could argue Spurs are sort of a sleeping giant because we ain't won anything in like 16 years. We've got this amazing stadium.
Sleeping? We're in a coma.
We've got this amazing stadium, this amazing training ground, which everyone bangs on about. And
a hotel coming.
And a hotel and Disneyland, leaving.
That was a great comment, Mark, earlier when you said the hotel will be built before this team will be.
I've said it on here many times.
You said that in our chat earlier. I thought that was one of your best comments.
I say it on here virtually every time we're on. That the hotel will be finished before the building of the squad. Because it's obvious. The hotel.
Isn't the main reason. I don't see how an investor benefits the club at all in any way whatsoever. And I'll come into why you buy later to buy outright. It's a different ballgame. But an investor comes in, say they buy a quarter of the share. Say for example, the club's worth 4 billion, and they come in with $1 billion or whatever it is, or even 500 million. I mean, it then depends what Enoch want to do with the money. They could bin it. It's their club, their money. They could bin the money unless they've got to distribute some amongst shareholders, right? Or you use that money to build the hotel, no matter how much that hotel comes, whether it's 60 million or 100 million to build it, because they haven't got
300 million, Adrian.
What, to build a hotel?
300 million for the hotel.
Jesus.
60 million you're building a hotel.
And then you're talking about.
Is it made out of platinum?
Then you're talking about. Let me finish, Mark. Okay.
Gold.
Then we're talking about developing the Women's Super League training ground, and perhaps, depending on the future, whether this club's going to go for a full NFL football league in this, because you've got the days to do it. If you cut out the football, the boxing, the concerts, and all that, you could have a full league program in London of NFL games. A franchise could come here, and you could develop NFL football pitches over there as well. But then you talk about. does anyone think that, like, if an investor comes in, any money's going to go into the squad?
None of it.
Why?
Nothing.
Why? Neither do I.
Why?
Why? Yeah,
Why? You're making so much money off of what's happening now. Why would I spend more money unnecessarily?
But they, I mean, the club have posted losses over the last 2 years. I mean, you've got 70 million depreciation on the stadium, right? So that gets it down.
But they're posting the losses based on their investments.
But we do have 670 million, 671, I think it was, million debt on the stadium, and it was 308 million owed in agents fees, transfer fees, and stuff like that. Now, I stand corrected; those figures are wrong, but we know it's over 600 million. And now, part of that, at least 20% of that 308 million should have been amortized in last year's account, so that will be gone. The whole idea is if you can keep that figure down, which is the wages as well, and the wages were 251.1 million last year, which was higher than Arsenal's wage bill, but I think it's because we had a bloated squad, right? That's why we had more wages than them. But so if you can keep them football-related expenditures down, it means you can spend in the transfer market. But I think we had at least another 50 mil we could have spent in this window that we had.
I'll probably go to the hotel.
Well, I don't know. I mean, forget the value of the hotel, right? It's a question of you think any money will be put into the team rather than they want money. They haven't got the money. Look, the reason you want to invest that is because you need to raise funds. Why do you need to raise funds? Because you haven't got the money, right? Now, the club functions okay. It's like us lot paying a mortgage or whatever. You got enough to pay it and a bit left over. What? Fine. The club functions, but if it was debt free, it would be a profit making, really profit making thing, wouldn't it? But it's not. But the debt's manageable at maximum at anything from 2.5 to 3.75% interest on it. You're never going to get them interest rates again. No one's going to get them, right? So the club's very healthy financially. But my argument is, if you're a multi-billionaire or you're a multi-billionaire organisation, and you say say for example, stadium, everything else is worth 4 billion. Why are you going to spend? And most football teams do not make a profit, right? So why are you going to spend 4 billion on a club? Why? When can you expect to get a return on your money? What, in another 50, 100 years' time?
But you're not buying just Tottenham. You're buying Tottenham Entertainment Industries.
Yeah.
We're looking at just the footballing end because that's what we care about as fans. But for a businessman that's coming in, they are not looking at that. They're looking at numbers strictly. And at the end of the day, it's already been pointed out that we generate ridiculous amounts of money and do very well with the money.
If, say,
from a business perspective,
those of you that own your own properties that have had them for years, and you realise, like, when I first bought my house, it was 30 odd grand. Now it's worth like 400, right? Now, if you can gentrify the area around Tottenham, like Brixton's have done, and all, then of course, when you've got your investor is invested, the land value goes up in that area. Therefore, your property values go up accordingly, right? So then you have gained on your investment, but you're going to have to wait a while, years, for that to happen, right? The only way I see a buyer coming into Spurs, and anyone can correct me if they think they're wrong, is if you're such a rich organisation, the money don't really make that much difference to you. If you were like an Alphabet or own Google, or if you were a Microsoft, or if you were like Elon Musk, and you could call the stadium SpaceX because it looks like a spaceship, right? You could come in and do that. And then to me, you would be buying it because it's a shining jewel. It's in London, not because you're making money as such, but because as part of your portfolio, and you move and you take that over, you've got, when you're a company that size or a single owner that size, you've got hundreds of business partners that want to be a part of you. And therefore, if you take over Tottenham Hotspur, you can use it to enhance your global brand for all the other companies you've got. I don't see any other attraction of buying a football club. Other clubs, unlike Spurs, wouldn't be attractive at all. Spurs are in a unique position to have a buyer, a sole buyer, But what I don't like the idea when they talk about Amanda Stavely and 15 partners. I mean, like, partners can never agree on anything anyway, like coming in. I mean, like, you'd really want one single rich organisation or single person to come in and buy this football club. I mean, that's what I'd like to see in my lifetime. I've never been against a change of ownership as long as it's the right fit for us. But what do you think, Ian?
I don't think. Will they sell? I don't know. I think Lewis will probably sell. He's 87. What does he want it for?
He's put all his eggs into his daughter's basket now because he had to distance himself for them charges he faced in America.
Well, but that's done, isn't it? That's done and finished.
Yeah. So basically, Levy owns 29% of ENIC. He's a billionaire in his own right, virtually. You know, he's got to be worth 500 million, worst wage. You know, so
the thing is with all of them, the thing is, right? Why would they build this cash-generating stadium that they're raking in money hand over fist and then sell it immediately?
Well, you see, you also spin-offs to that, right? Now,
well, yeah, exactly.
Right.
If you pay 220 million and you're selling it for 4 billion.
No, but the point I was trying to make is they've only just built. Hang on a minute, Adrian. They've only just. Well, it's been 5 years, and so 1 or 2 of that was COVID affected, so there was no one in there. But now it's up and running again, and everything's open. I mean, I've been to the stadium a few times, and it is basically it's like a cash point. You just walk in there, and there's like, I mean, they got that bar that can serve like 10,000 pints an hour. It takes about 3 seconds to fill up from the bottom. You know, no one else can sing that, but you know, you've got this vast money making machine that is just to bring in the money in, just bringing the money in now. You know, after COVID and whatever, everything's back to normal. And so what would possess them to get rid of it? I mean, in my mind, as much as I don't like them, and I'd like a new owner tomorrow, but it's not going to happen.
No, I agree with you, Mark. I think it would have to be an offer that's absolutely ridiculous.
Like
The Godfathers could be an offer. Give me an offer I cannot refuse.
It'd have to be 5 billion, 6 billion.
Sugar was wise enough. No, Sugar was wise. Go on.
They're not going to get 5 or 6 billion.
Sugar was wise enough to hang on to a large chunk of shares. If ENIC went, you know they'd still hold on to a large chunk.
He sold them.
Who has?
Sugar sold them.
He sold them all, did he?
Sold them years ago. He sold 29 of his 42%.
When you look at what they've earned
I think I was told he sold the other 13% about 16 years.
When you look at what they've earned for their investment, because they're an investment, ENIC are the English National Investment Company. When you look what they've earned it over a period of years, right? That they've earned. Now the growth now of the equity value of the club until you build the hotel and finish up would go up. It's not going to go up as fast as it went in the past, but there is a vast untapped market out there. Spurs are reported to have, which is probably a lot less than Liverpool, Man United, a 34 million fan base out there. 34 million. Now, some of them fans obviously be very poor people, barely probably scraping to get by day. But others are potential,
half of them are my family. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but out of that 44 million, there's probably an untapped market of potential buyers of, I doubt if they'd buy shirts, because in Asia you probably get the Spurs shirt for 50 pence, where over here is 80 quid. You know what I mean?
It's £3 actually, Adrian. That's a bit of exaggeration.
Yeah, you have to pay for the cross stitching.
I see. As much as I would like a new owner, as long as they're the right fit for the club, if these new rules, if the Premier League can ever enforce the rules they've got, let alone adding new ones to them, then you look at Newcastle, right? Their owners are worth 36 billion, right? And they can't spend the money because of financial fair play, profits they're paying.
I thought they were worth more than that.
Tell us. No, my argument, my angst with the club, apart from my experience at the stadium with a friend of mine and all that, took a funny turn. My angst with the club is that I said it before to people, is I want us to be able to maximise the amount we are allowed to spend in the window. We haven't done it in this window, and I think that'll please Lever. I think we're at least 50 million we could have spent more. We only rumoured to have spent about 70, and we've averaged about 600 million. I think it's more than that since the stadium opened in 2019. So I think we could have spent more, and we haven't. So Levy will think, oh, don't matter if we don't get top four. I've got the money. We would have got if we got top four anyway. And I think he'd be more interested in Ange going all the way in the Europa League, because that gives you a Champions League spot anyway. So we've got 2 chances this season, and I think we will really go for it in the Europa League. And I think actually it's a very good chance because we got 8 bites of the cherry. But on the financial side, I think all clubs are going to be constrained by these rules. I mean, I actually think the rules are a good thing if everyone abides by them, because it does create a level playing field as such, you know. But so the rules are good in that respect. But
they don't apply to everybody.
And I don't know, because me and Ian talked about in the last podcast or the one before about, I don't know what happens because there is a transition period between rules. So you had FFP, financial fair play, or PSR, profit sustainable rules, whatever acronym you want to live with. And I don't know if there's a big allowance of a chunk of money switch over that, because you've had a lot of fans say, oh, we could spend 400 million, we could spend 250 million, we could spend this, that, and the other, which I don't think is correct. I don't know what the transition period allows financially, and whether now after this transfer we might have lost that opportunity anyway. I don't know. Right, I'm not up to that. When it comes to finances, I leave it to Kieran Maguire, the Brighton supporter who lectures on football finances at Liverpool University. So I tend to go to him, and see what he's saying about football and his latest news, because he is spot on. Right.
But Adrian, sorry, if I could just backtrack a little. If we are talking about somebody coming in and buying it solely as a business and not a footballing club, like Ian's pretty much already said, that's somebody's going to come in and not look at this as a club. Oh my God, this is the club that I want to buy because they win trophies and they're exciting and they're really good and they're on the right path. They're going to look at this as a business. Does it not put a bit of fear in you that we could end up with somebody potentially worse than what we have?
I'm hoping this is where
more money out of the football.
I'm hoping there's
they can everywhere else.
With the football club, when it goes, there's some sort of deed of covenant with it, or whether the football regular says, this club can only be sold under these conditions or something like that. I'm hoping there's something in there like that. But when people say it's a business, no one's going to come in and buy any football club if they don't think of it as a business. Not for that amount of money, or even for a couple of billion. They're not, are they?
Because I put it in your chat earlier, Bobby. I put it in your chat earlier, Bobby. Knowing our luck, we'll get Mike Ashley.
Well, you look at Ashley, right? The Newcastle fans, they had better protests than our fans did, right? They did everything more. They boycotted games. They did that and the other. And when did Ashley sell? When he was ready to sell, because he owned the
club. Then you say that, Adrian, with United.
The Blazers, they've had thousands of fans storm the stadium, and they're still there.
They got Man United, Liverpool called off.
The fans got Ed Woodward out, though.
The fans were great with the blue and gold when it comes to the fouled
purple and gold,
Super League. Yeah. That was that was good.
Fans, right? Us fans, we got so much power, but we don't use it. We got 150 people protesting outside the ground if we're lucky. Most times it's about 50 people with that.
I was going to say there was less than that when I went there.
Yeah, it's
around like 20 when I turned up.
Yeah, it's just we've got all the power, the fans. We can take all the equity away from the club by not going and spending money, not going to the games. We could do a lot, but we don't.
Ellie, taking out a worst case scenario, how much money do you think Spurs make from a game?
Oh, right. It's around about. I was watching Sean Butler. I'm sure he said around about £1 to £2 million.
No, we take $1 million. We take $1 million in pies and beer. It's about. It's up
5 to 6 million, Ellie.
Exactly.
It's about
make
£5 to £6 million profit,
right?
No. Turnover.
Yeah,
right.
I was talking about clear profit.
Right. So you're talking 120 million, right? That's us fans going to the game, buying food and all that, right?
That's a lot of beer.
120 million, right? Off of 550 million. What's that leave you? 330 million? 430 million, right? So at a cold light of day, if no one went to them games like during COVID, right? The club are still they raked in 228 million in sponsorship last year, right? You've now got the TV money, which goes to Tottenham Hotspur Football Athletic
but
Company
Adrian,
Limited,
you're
is
missing
more money.
the point as well, right? If there's no fans there, there's no joy for people to watch it on the telly, will they? They won't watch dead games with no fans in, because the fans make the atmosphere. The fans are football.
I don't know how it was there, Ellie, but over here, all the games that were televised, they basically had fake fan noise. It was generated fan noise.
Well, we're faking it, Bobby K, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're faking pretending to be a football club right now, too. That's what's gotten so many people frustrated, right?
Allegedly, that's what the WWF do as well, or WWE, whatever it's called now. That they have like fake fan noise.
I mean, listen, Brian and fair play to Brian and the protestmen, because I mean they made Levy feel very uncomfortable. I think you're sort of reaching the limits of what you can actually do with the fan base there, but they don't like it. They don't like anything that's bad for business. You know, sponsor won't come because there's trouble at the mill. You know what I mean, and things like that. But I just don't. It's a hard one, isn't it, to mobilise support. And then you have to look at our fan base. It's the demographics of our fan base. We're spread so far and wide anyway.
And have dramatically changed, Adrian, in the face of that fan base. Because I'm sorry to say, but Levy doesn't want anybody sitting on this panel in that stadium except for me.
Well, called it Kieran Maguire.
Honestly, because I'm the idiot that's going to fly over there. I'm the idiot that's going to go to the shop. I'm going to spend the money in the shop because I've come all the way over there for a game, which is a very rare treat for me. I went to that stadium last year for the NLD. It'll be a couple of years before I go again. Am I going to deprive my children and say, sorry, no, we can't spend money in here? They're children. They don't understand the politics of everything. I never understood any of this stuff until I joined YouTube, until you guys really opened my eyes to what's happening with the club. And I believe that's where a lot of our fans are, is that they just look at the results. Oh, hey, we won today. Fantastic. Oh, we lost. Oh, well, let's go get an ice cream.
Well, this is something to frighten you then, because Kieran Maguire, when I read an article about him, he was talking about the fact that in an ideal situation for owners, you wouldn't even have any season ticket holders at the ground.
Yeah.
Basically, you'd have the market research done over a couple of generations that they know they could fill the stand with tourists, basically 2,000 or 3,000 flying into a career each match, this, that, and the other. And then I mean, my concern is, having loved this club watched them play over 60 years, is that, you know, football is not just losing its soul at Tottenham. Right, this is happening everywhere. These clubs are trying to make money now, and I fear, doesn't mean to say that someone who's got a lot more money than me that's in the South Stand won't sing as loud and proud, but I just doubt it. I think you're just losing something. We're gradually, as a fan base and the traditions of being a fan and having it in your blood and your DNA, I just think it's just being gradually eroded.
No, you're right. This way. Even the section that we sat in when we went for that NLD, it seemed to be more of an overseas kind of section, a tourist fan section. I had a guy sitting there turn to me and hear me speaking and was like, "You're not from here." And I said, "No, we're from Canada and everything." And he's like, "Oh, great, all these tourist fans." And Paddy was with me and he asked, "Oh, you're from Ireland and stuff." And then we spoke to a couple of fans in and around us. Nobody was from there, was from England. Everybody in our area was from somewhere else. And this guy was a Londoner and he was pissed off about it because he's like, "This is the problem." He goes, "The noise in this," he goes, "you watch." And he was an older fella and he spoke to me through the game and everything. He goes, "You go over there where it's more of the locals and you're gonna the passion level is significantly higher. The anger towards what's happening on the pitch, the aggression towards players being, you know, not doing something properly and calling them out, basically." Whereas
I've said this before, Bobby. I think Ellie vouched for me here as well. I've said that basically the atmosphere at Tottenham now is a lot different and you know, very, very touristy.
1 million
back at the White Hart Lane, it was massively different. You know, the atmosphere was totally different, and it's a shame. It's a shame, really.
Bobby, put it this way. Put it this way. Hang on a minute. I ain't said nothing bloody ages. Right. Put it this way. Bobby is Bobby is
At
a
least 20
1,000,000%
minutes.
correct. He is, because no, you are, sir. You are. No, because if the club had its way, they'd have people like Bobby coming over that they know would go in the club shop, £200-300 on all the apparel that's going to go, well, £400 then that's going to go in your bag to take. That's going to go in your bag to take back to Canada. I mean, it's not going to be likes of me that go up there, refuse to buy anything in the stadium because I just won't.
I don't know outside of the stadium where should I go have a pint instead of being in
Exactly.
there. Being a
Exactly.
tourist, I don't know what's local.
Exactly.
You know, as a tourist, I'm coming into Tottenham hearing about how it's not a good area. Don't go wandering here. Don't go wandering there. As soon as the sun goes down, get the hell out of there. The vampires are coming.
Yeah.
You know,
And plus,
so why am I going to go wandering around? I'm going to sit my ass in the stadium. I'll pay the extra £1 or £2 or £3.
Yeah, for a pint, for a beer,
for safety reasons. And for my so again, that hampers that as well for the locals.
Well, put it this way.
Shop, I spent 400 mark, and I'm telling you, I was one of the lower spending people.
Well, exactly.
I in front of me spent £1,100.
They do not want people like me to go in there that won't buy a drink in there, that won't go in the number 8 bar and pay £8, £9 a pint, whatever it is, because Levy owns that as well. I will go to the Bricklayers where it's £5 a pint. I will go to the Bill Nick where it's £5 a pint.
Yeah.
You know, I will go to the pubs that the club don't own. You know,
again, and Mark, because you're there.
Yeah, it's because I've been before and I know.
If I'm flying over as a fan, and I'm going to generalize most tourist fans here and say that we're not going to do that investigation. We're not going to know that that bar is owned by Levy. We're still putting money in. Those things. They're not even going to come into our mind at all.
No, of course they're not. Of course they're not. Because for you, when you turned up at the stadium, you had an 8-hour flight to get here from Toronto. You know, and to be honest, when you walked up the high road and you saw the big spaceship there, sat there, I bet you were like, wow. You know, wow.
Yeah, honestly, I was.
Wow. In your first...
There, Barry, as soon as we turned the corner, I saw the stadium, I was in awe.
Yeah. And your first question is, where's the club shop? And I don't blame you for that. And I don't blame you for that. You know, I mean, your first thing is where's the club shop? And your kids were like, come on, Dad, give us your wallet.
Well, to be fair, as most people know, for those that don't know, it was Little K's birthday. It was my son's birthday.
Yeah.
So he had got birthday money. He had got Christmas money because it was right after Christmas. So he then was given a significant amount of funds to use, and that's where he wanted to use them.
And the money for holding up that liquor store, Bobby K. There was that as well.
It was a bag, Adrian.
Come on. Right. I want to.
Sorry, Patty, I had a cousin turn me on to them when I was 16 years old. I never looked back. It was between them and Man United. It was between Sheringham and Giggs. I took Sheringham. I never looked back.
I wanted to ask you, Bobby K.
Yes.
What's it like with sports franchises and the fans in Canada?
It's the same thing. This is what I'm saying, Adrian. If you look at Toronto Maple Leafs, which is the biggest marketed team close to me, which is NHL hockey team, if you look at them, the parallels between Tottenham, Enoch, and MLSE, who operate the Toronto Raptors, the Toronto Blue Jays, and the Toronto Maple Leafs, it's disgusting almost how similar they are. They're all about profit. The Maple Leafs have not won a Stanley Cup, which is the only one cup available to them every year since 1966 or 67. They wear blue and white. It's absolutely insane. The prices keep going up. I believe they're number one. They're in the top 3 for sure in the league for ticket prices. And again, where is that money going back into the team, because they're not winning either? So to me, I know it's frustrating to us as Spurs fans to look at and say that this has turned into a business, and it annoys us because football should be the number one priority. But I see it across the board with a lot of sports. There's very few owners out there that are truly passionate about the sport. I'd be shocked if half of them even know the name of the team they own.
Can I come in here?
Sure,
because Destiny has said, I've just sort of got it up on my screen here. No owner cares about trophies, just the trophies are a bonus to keep the fans quiet. I'll answer that. Biggest year profit-wise Spurs have had was the year they reached the Champions League final in 2019. and they made a profit of 138 million. Now, you'd think that Levy would realise that football success, I call it success, for Spurs, a Champions League final is success. You would think that he would see that and think to himself, do you know what? Well,
yeah,
you know, football success, relative success and financial success correlates. Now, another stat in the wages revenue, very low at 46, is nothing like 46. I think it's under 40% now. I think we're about the 7th highest wage payer in the Premier League. I think we've got rid of either 32 or 38 million in the last year. And I think
wage massively, didn't we?
with all the, I mean, we've got rid of 17 players, including loans, this transfer window. 17. Think about that.
Yeah.
17.
We bought 5 in, and we bought 5 in.
5 in, and Spencer's come back. Otherwise, everybody else, I don't think anyone. I think Rayon's come back, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Adrian, so sorry, Ian. Carry on.
So for me, it's. What about the other big 5 that keep winning trophies?
Yeah.
They're making money, aren't they? They're all making money.
The other situation is that you can fall in and be, you know, can be deceiving. So if we win the Europa League this year or any trophy, winning trophies might appease the fans temporarily, but it's not going to change the direction of the club, is it?
Has to be consistent, Adrian.
Yeah.
And that's
Adrian,
the thing. We've addressed that right now. We don't know the direction.
Because there is, I mean, I've been on the worst end of this with friends of mine at the stadium. The club have got no empathy with the fans.
No.
If you're going to take concessions away from the disabled person's carer on ticket prices, if you can put ticket prices up to rake in just another 3 million, I mean, I think a lot of this is disgusting. Even the prices to have no water stations around, free water around the ground like you would have. I used to have them had to be compulsory when I was running sites. You had to have free water for people there, like bottled water and stuff like that. And then, all right, they've got paramedics walking around, but to me, you should have stations on each concourse floor where you know where it is, so you ain't got to go and hunt for someone. You can find someone. My friend had a turn. I had to go and queue for a bottle of water. I had to beg the guys at the things that I could walk through because I wasn't in his section, so as I could get him to his seat so he could sit down, right, and things like that. And I wasn't happy, right? There's other things. I go to the lift, you know, I've got a few conditions. I don't want to talk about them. I'm full as fit as a fiddle. I'll outlive you lot, right? But I mean, like, and then like I get questioned, like people look at me, I don't look the youngest. I'm 70 in Jan, you know what I mean? But like, and then question me because I want to take the lift to the 5th floor where my seat is, you know. And something.
I went to go in the lift. I went to go in the lift on the 5th floor.
Well,
not because I'm unfit. It's because I was drunk.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And I couldn't physically walk up the steps.
But you've never been to the ground sober, Mark. You've never been there sober.
Well, there is that.
Have you seen the football we've had to watch? Can you blame them?
Like they do them con artists in casinos in there. They see you coming, right?
Yeah.
See you coming. I mean, and, you know, so like, I ain't walking up 5 flights of stairs to get to my seat. I
had no choice.
Twice on the way up, you know? I mean, like, it's like, there's just no empathy with the fans now. And they're just a general squeeze, like you said, Mark, is to make more money.
Yeah, of course it is.
But, I mean, I can lance boils, I can research, I can criticise the club from loads of angles, right? But I can't offer solutions because I haven't got any. It's easy to lance boils and not offer solutions, but I haven't got any. I mean, like, what is the solution to this? You do need to be able to mobilise support. But when is the next time you're waiting for the next PR blunder by the club to enrage fans, or you're waiting, I don't know what you're waiting for. But our fan base, I don't believe our fan base is, I think, a big mistake of the protest movement. And I've been to 3, didn't stay long. I can't stand too long in one spot anyway, right? I've been to 3 outside the ground. I ain't been to the training ground and all that, like, just to say hello to a few people I've seen online and that. And, but I don't know how you can mobilise support. Somehow they've got to join up with the trust, because the trust have been much maligned at times by the protest movements and all that. But they have done some good work. And even if I've got no faith in the fans advisory board. They're all going to go native. You know that they're going to go native. want to get free tea and biscuits or whatever. So I've got no faith in that at all, them making any changes. And you can't, and when the trust before demanded they'll resign over the Super League, the club just cut them off. I mean, if you want to go in and kick the boardroom door down and bang your fist on the table and demand this, that, and the other, you're just going to be shown a way out. So I don't know. You've just got to be calculating and clever about the way you go about things if you want to get the club, but to change some things here and there. I'm not hopeful, though. I tell you, I'm not.
But
hopeful.
Adrian, you've already hit the nail on the head. We are not an entity they're concerned about, because we are a turnover entity. We can be replaced tomorrow. We are no more than a number to them.
Yeah.
Look how many people are waiting on the list for season tickets, Bobby. Do you know what I mean?
How many people are trying to come over there as tourists even and get tickets and how hard it is.
Phil,
yeah.
Fallacy, mate. I know someone spoke to me who was offered a season ticket. There was about 28,000 on the list last summer.
28,000? I thought it was more than that.
28,000 on the list. No, they're offered season ticket.
I thought it was way more than that.
I thought
this was going back probably about 6 months.
No, that's what he was. No.
Well, I'm going
You're not getting what Ian was saying. You're not getting what Ian was saying. Ian said he was 28,000. I think there's about 100,000 in there on the waiting list, Ian.
When it's
I must say, a lot of those people cannot afford season tickets.
Yeah.
No, they're on the list because they're members.
Right.
Yeah.
And that gives them a chance of getting a ticket when home tickets go on sale.
Yeah.
There's something like 6,000 or 8,000 that go on sale.
Right.
And if you got 100,000 members, so you got 6,000 to 8,000 tickets for 100,000 people potentially. But
so they're all 50 quid a year membership for that.
50 quid a year. So that's 50.
Yeah,
5 million.
We had to do that. We had to get our Spurs membership, one Hotspur, and then the
5 million
kids as well, just so we could get tickets.
Yeah. To know the member list,
that was another £80, I think it cost me.
There are 2 member lists. You've got the Hotspur 1 Plus member list, right? They pay a fiver more to go on the waiting list. So if you know what that list is, that is the list of your waiting list for your members. It's quite easy to get it, right? When its stadium first opened, the total at the time dropped off. Well, it was about 170,000, believe it or not.
But I've got to tell you something, Adrian. If
it's dropped off, it's probably about 70,000 now, 80,000 maybe. Might be 100K. I don't know.
If the club aren't successful and they carry on being unsuccessful, and then the league position starts slipping and we're mid-table, you watch the crowds drop off. There's only so far they can push people financially.
Yeah, true. But at the same time,
people just don't have the money. People are going into debt to buy season tickets.
Right. At worst case scenario, we don't have a big enough financial effect to even stop buying out the shop. Token gestures. Plus, if you're taking 120 million, right, a season from fans, $1 million a game in food and pies, and then the rest in ticket sales, right? The club are making 4 times as much money than what we don't. At the worst case scenario, they could suffer us. They can suffer. They know they can afford, and the amount that are going to protest anyway is so small. So it doesn't. It's not even a drip in a bucket to them.
Adrian, if you're getting 40,000, that's a big drop. That's merchandise, that's tickets, that's food and beverage.
Yeah, it could be 3 million a game. Say it's half the crowd. Say it's 33 and half the whatever.
No, but hang on a second. But then you lose on all the Sky money because you're not as high up in the league. You're not winning trophies. You're not on telly as much.
Yeah, you're paid on your finish.
It all adds up. It all adds up. They've got to. You see, this is it. They're very clever because they spend just enough to keep the club semi-competitive,
relevant,
no challenge.
Yeah.
I think you will see a scenario where Enoch probably will go at some point, but Daniel Levy won't be going.
Not in our lifetime.
I think. Yeah. I mean, the problem is that the owners they don't align. Everything doesn't align at this club at the moment in terms of ambition, and that's where the problem is. You know, the owners have a different ambition to what the manager does, because the manager, Ange, you know, he does want to win. He's a winner. He's won everywhere he's been. Granted, it's lower leagues and whatnot, you know. But
so had Jose.
At the end of the day, nothing aligns at this club in terms of ambition, and that's where we are going wrong at this club.
Well, I mean, we're probably all of the same ilk here. I mean, I don't, even if whether we win trophies or not, or even if we win trophies, I don't think anything's going to change anyway. Not towards the fans. I mean, it'll make us all happier. We've won a trophy. We go get drunk or whatever and celebrate. But
you speak for yourself.
Well, okay. All right. I know you're on the wagon now, Mark.
Teetotal.
Yeah, right. So, like, yeah. I mean, I don't see the direction of football in general, not just Spurs, changing. I think it's going to become America lead the way and how to do business, and I think we're just going to follow that route.
So it's going to become a money-making machine, not even a football club, basically.
No, it'll still be a football club. The football generates the money, doesn't it? Look at how many money. I mean, a football club generates more money than anything else. All these other events they have on. I mean, basically, the stadium is leased. The shows get the ticket sales. Spurs still get all the money for the food and drink. Don't you? Look, you take West Ham Stadium. They don't get no money for food and drink. They've been given that stadium. We paid for it, by the way. We paid for it, taxpayers and Merton Council, right? They get a free stadium. But they don't get no money for the food and drink. I think they've still got to play for all the steward and policing and stuff like that, you know. But Spurs will still get that. Plus, they'll get the fee for leasing the stadium, for renting it out. You know, it'll all be worked out. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know how much they make out of those events. I mean, like, I've got no idea. But that is money.
A lot.
That if it's made out of the football club, then it has to go when it's in the financial report at the end, when all the breakdowns are done from different things like Spurs shot, blah, blah, blah. It all has to go in a financial report. So it is part of the money of Spurs. They can't nick it and siphon it off or anything like that without, you know, but they don't have to. They don't have to.
What gets me is we are one of the biggest spenders in the Premier League. And yet we're still struggling to compete for trophies. Do you know what I mean? That just baffles me. Like,
it wasn't just the spending that was the big problem at the club, though, was it, Phil? Let's be fair.
Well, it's the recruitment. The recruitment side of it is a massive issue for us.
Crap, right? And the structure of the footballing side of the club was crap. And
yeah.
And it's been ripped apart and changed now. We all hope for the better. From all the coaching levels through the academy levels, it's all been changed. That was down to Parachichi. You couldn't believe what he saw when he was there. Dean Rastrick, when he was with the academy, right? They had a set pay structure for academy kids. We ain't going to bring kids in on a fixed pay structure. I know we don't want kids earning X amount of money ourselves. You think
we were losing kids to all the other London clubs.
Exactly. Yeah, we're losing all the best kids. And under 17s and under 18s did well the year before season last. Or under 21s the season before last were crap. I watched them, right? They were rubbish. Then we started bringing them in, paying them money. I mean, Lancashire cost us, like, depending on the reports you believe, 2 to 3 million off of Sheffield. But he left Arsenal. We pay him £3 million for a 17-year-old. Lancashire was 17. Look how much we recently paid for Bergvall. And even Gray for his age. It was unheard of. That would have been unheard of a few seasons ago. Although with Bergvall and Gray, I mean, I believe, it's just my belief, I think they're going to be stars. I think they're going to be stars.
But Adrian, that's how the clubs are going now.
They all are, yeah, Ian. They are.
They're going down the route of trying to find gems, you know, for little money, bring the kids through, you know, and potentialise them. Whether it's going to be first team and then a sale, or, you know, they're going to be sort of lifelongers like Terry, Gerrard, Kane. Virtually, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the likes of someone like Man United, they're too big to be a family club. When you're a small and you're in the Southern League, or you're one of these medium-sized clubs who are in an area where you kind of, because of the population and demographics, your maximum crowd pool is going to be this, maybe a few people from outside your area, and you're never going to grow and be big and whatever. Then you can be a family club. Peterborough can be a family club. When I listen to the guy on TalkSport chatting in the mornings with Jim White, you know, their chairman, it sounds like he's got his head screwed on. But he knows it's realistic. He knows where he is. He knows his limitations, right?
But you don't have to spend 40 million on a foreign player to for things to be successful. You know, Bleak wanted to get Bowen in for 8 million. 8 million from Hull.
Yeah.
What a miss that was.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I haven't got any solutions. I mean, if there were, I think Brian Daigle would have thought them up long before I would have. You know, I mean, like, even if you try to get a think tank together, I think you still end up just banging your head against the wall, trying to find ways that, you know, you think the club should show. If they make that much money, they should show some empathy with the fans, in my opinion.
There's nothing. There's no connection with the fan base at all.
Yeah, there's no reason why they shouldn't. Maybe they will this year for a token year. Next season, freeze the prices to appease the fans for one season or something like that. But then when they did that before, they put all the booze price up. They put all the food prices up. Right? So like, and I mean, 80 quid for a shirt. You haven't. I can't remember the last.
Give something back and then take it away.
£1,000 worth of Spurs stuff. I've got pajama bottoms. I've got tracksuit bottoms. I've got hoodies. I've got sweatshirts. I've got Fred Perry's. I've got t-shirts. And I've not got one football shirt. Why?
I must tell you, Adrian, I went on a stadium tour at the Bernabeu in 2010, 2011, 2010, I think. And a shirt was €139 in the club shop.
How much is that in pound?
Over £100, 150.
I'm pretty sure at the club shop when we were there were £110 for a shirt, and it was another, I think, £20 or £25 to have a name on the back.
Well, the names and the numbers, there's something like £5 a letter and £5 a number and £2 a letter. So if you got someone with about 20 letters in their surname, you know, that all adds up. Because I normally got Kane because it only had 4 letters.
Like one of them Canadian Polish people that got Kowalski Skorsky name or something like that.
Mine's simple, just 4 like Kane. I just changed the last letter to a G.
Yeah, exactly. It was something like that. It might be more expensive. I think the last time I got a name put on the back of mine, it was like £2 a letter and £5 a number.
I'm probably wrong, but I could have sworn it was over £100 just for a shirt with no name on it.
But there's two shirts you can get now. There's a normal shirt, and then there's like the player special.
The player, that's the one I'm talking about. The ones that they actually wear or whatever. They were more.
The ones this season for that standard shirt are £125, which is crazy.
The elite shirt or something it's called.
Yeah, it's the elite one. That's it, the elite one.
I've not bought anything from a club shop ever, so I haven't bought anything since they not died down White Hart Lane. I haven't bought a Spurs shirt.
I get all my Spurs shirts for the thing that Brian Daigle put me in contact with.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
DHA.
Yeah. No. It's a group.
Oh, a cult. Okay.
Well, no. Well, it's I don't know. Brian put me in contact with it. It's all right. I've got a shirt off him. I got the brown one from last year.
Yeah, I got that cappuccino one, right?
Yeah.
I got that from DHgate as well.
So, Hez, are you going for 5 wins out of these games coming up?
No.
What do you mean, no? You do surprise me.
That's shocking to hear because he's so positive all the time. Such an annoying happy clapper.
No. I don't class myself as a, I don't lean. Well, I don't think I lean. Well, other people label you how they label you, don't they? I just deal with facts, mate. That's all I do, and I just say as I see it on games and players and things like that. But I just class myself as a Spurs fan. That's it with me. Other people can label me what they want, But
you're going to be 70. Do you really care what people label you? I'm only 48. I don't care.
I always try. No, what I try to do, I want to mislead people or wrongly influence them. I always try to bring facts to the table, So, and then people can debate whether they agree, disagree, which is healthy stuff, I think, and it's good to have contrasting opinions anyway. So we got these games coming up, guys. I spoke to Ian and Mark about this before. How, you got the Arsenal game, then there's Coventry away. But when we could play carrier bag, as people have been calling them, carrier bag, we got Man United away on the Sunday, So those wondering whether
I
we're going
think-
to play weak sides. We're not going to be put a weaker side out than we had at Fulham, but
I think we only beat Brentford and Karabakh, if I'm being honest.
really,
Yeah.
that's more positive than usual from you, though, Hans.
I was going to say that's really shocking.
As you don't think we'll beat Coventry?
No, I just think he'll rest 10 players again or something like that, and then we'll get knocked down.
Do some sort of madness.
Yeah.
Because we've got the Brentford game afterwards on the weekend, and they'll prioritise the league, I think. So,
in the chat, how many games do you think we're going to win out of these, chat? I'll put them up again. Right.
I think, like I said, I think we'll lose to Arsenal, we'll lose to Coventry, we'll bounce back against Brentford and Karabakh, and we'll lose away to United, probably.
Sunday, Adrian, Arsenal is.
Is it 2 o'clock? Wait,
Sunday the 15th, 2 o'clock.
9 a.m. here, yeah.
Right, so I've got
only one turning up at the ground on Saturday.
Right.
No, because I thought it might be 1:30. That's why I asked.
No, it's not on my fixture list I printed out at the beginning of the season. It's on the see this on that. Right, it's on the 14th before it's been changed, so I've copied it off of that. Right, so if it's the 15th, it's the 15th. I shall be there. Any of you lot going or can't go?
Yeah.
Can't go. You're going?
No, I haven't got any tickets. I was going to come up just for the atmosphere around the pubs and whatnot and watch it in the pub there, but I'm not too sure yet.
Will you be taking antidepressants before the game has, or?
I'm quite numb to it now, so like it just kind of flows through. We lose the game, I'm just not really expecting anything else, so it's just like
Mark's frightened. Mark will tell you a story. Mark's frightened to go to Spurs with the Dorset crowd anyway. Tell him why, Mark.
Well,
Dorset
I've only been with the Dorset lot once, and I've never been so drunk in my entire life. apart from nearly every Saturday. No. But they do. Well, put it this way: we got the Fleet, which is a service station on the M3, and what's them bloody drinks called? Jaeger bombs come out, and I made an excuse that I can't drink them. I'm diabetic. I can't drink that. Just pass me another can of lager. But they do like a drink. I'll give them that.
And what happened on the way home? What happened on the way home?
They dumped me in Dorchester, and I had to go and sit in the bloody hospital A&E for 8 hours till I could catch a train home. Which is why I don't go with them anymore.
I don't even drink anymore, so I'm drunk. I had 3 drinks in like 2 years, so
I wish I had your willpower.
Yeah.
I had a drink when England were in the final against Spain in the Euros. That was it. I haven't had a drink since, and I don't miss it, to be honest with you. But if Spurs win a trophy, I will have a drink.
Yeah, so, probably will as well.
I'm not expecting
that means
to get drunk anytime soon. I'm not expecting to get drunk anytime soon.
Yeah.
Right. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? We'll go through the fun Q&A.
I thought we were all going to go through here. What if you got Harry's depressing?
Yeah.
Black cloud over here, man.
What did Haz predict?
No.
I said we'll beat Brentford and Karabakh.
I think the easiest win there.
Okay, now that was good for you, man.
Yeah.
Easy 3 points again.
But the thing is, you say that, yeah. He only asked me about the next game, and then I give him my result, and he's like, "Yeah, it's not positive." But then when you asked me 5 games, I gave some wins, and that was like positive. So I don't know.
Well, you clap it has now.
Coventry did play well against Man United last year. Mustn't forget.
That's why I don't think we'll win either, because they were so good against United. I think they'll be up for it because it's a cup game under the lights midweek.
I think
is it on Wednesday?
Spurs once at the stadium in about 120 years or something like. I'm not worried about that.
We
beat them in a conference league or something. We beat them in Europe. I think it was in a conference league.
We ain't had Bobby's predictions for the 5 games.
Come on, Bobby.
Yeah,
come on, guys.
All right,
the
5
fact that you're even asking me is disappointing. 5 wins, baby. Come on, Spurs. Let's go.
I'm the same. I don't see why not.
You know what, Adrian? This is why I don't care. I get called a deluded happy clapper, whatever. Because to me, reality sucks. and this is an escape from reality. Football to me is about joy and passion. I'm okay with losing as long as I see commitment and effort. What we've seen over the last few years, I think, is what's made us so jaded, is that we're not even seeing that commitment and effort. We're questioning, why is this player doing that? Why is that player doing that? Why are you not running? At least run, make a tackle, do something, pass the ball 5 yards to the right guy, not the guy on the other team. They wear different colored jerseys. It's all those little things that have built up the frustration. But I'm always going to stick there and assume that we can win every single game before we go into
there,
it.
aren't they? I mean, like looking at Man United when Liverpool played. I mean, Man United are a big name, but they've got some rebuilding to do there. I mean, like it's never easy at Old Trafford anyway. But this is the time you want to play them early in the season when they've had a few bad results.
Right, the rest of us went through this, didn't we?
They're missing Rice, but I think that's it, isn't it?
I would say so. They are different class to us. They don't concede goals.
Yeah.
They know how to defend, for one.
They don't know, exactly. I mean, they were down to 10 men. They didn't buckle against Brighton.
Although Brighton did push them hard. Brighton aren't bad. They're a good side. Brighton.
Yeah, I'm impressed with Brighton.
Tip them for top 6 this year, or whatever. But you don't know because you don't know. I don't know nothing about their squad depth and all that, how that'll affect them and everything else. So that's the advantage you have being even a Man United. You can be a poor Man United team, but they're going to have a bloated squad. So squad depth is not going to kill them. So overall, they can get over most of their hurdles because they've got a squad. It might not be a brilliant squad, but like last year, the way they crept up the league. Look at the way Chelsea crept back into it after their disastrous run. So,
they had a great manager, didn't they?
Yes, and he went and he left because he weren't a yes man. Yeah. So, you're saying we're going to win Brentford and Qarabag? That's it, yeah?
Yeah.
Pretty positive from you, though, I've got to admit. Bobby K, can you do any better? Can you call 6 points and raise him or whatever? Can you?
How many points are on the table? 18, so we'll get 20.
Yeah.
No, in all seriousness, Arsenal at home, I
could go anyway, couldn't it?
It could go anyway because we do have that home factor, of course, that does influence games. I honestly think that's going to be a draw. I think we can actually get a point out of there. Win against Coventry, win against Brentford, win against Bag, and Man United again. They are on a worse roller coaster than we are.
We drew with them last year, didn't we? Away, won it 2-2.
Yeah,
was that? Yeah, it was that late goal, right?
I'd expect look, worst ways. I mean, I'll always go for wins, but worst ways, I'd expect worst thing to happen. I'd expect a draw at home at Arsenal, and I'd expect a draw away at Man United and win the other 3. That's my worst way to go. But did you finish all your predictions, Bobby?
No, just with the Man U one was left. Again, I think they're on a bigger roller coaster than we are.
Yeah. So
I really think that their fan base is turning a lot more on Ten Hag than our fan base is turned on Ange, and we all know how many of our fan base want Ange out already.
And have you heard, Bobby K, the price of umbrellas at Man United since their roof leaks? Gone through. I
thought you got complimentary umbrellas when you got a ticket into the stadium now.
Come through that stand
and rain boots. Wellington's umbrella with every ticket bought to the ground.
It's theatre of streams now, isn't it? Instead of theatre of dreams.
Who slots in for Rice? Partey's gone, is he not?
Partey's still there.
Yeah, Partey's still there. Rice is out. Their new signing Marino isn't playing either.
Probably going to play.
Yeah, and Calafiori might be injured, but they've got Saliba and what's the name at the back anyway. You're Odegaard, aren't you?
I think he'll probably play Odegaard. He might play Jorginho, but I don't know if he'll do that after last year.
I think he'll put Havertz in the midfield with Partey and Odegaard. And then they'll play Jesus up top, I reckon. That's what they're going to play.
He's injured though, isn't he? Jesus.
Is he injured, is he? Right. Well, they might do it like be Trossard, Martinelli maybe. Trossard might play as a false 9. Could be.
Maybe. There was rumor. Arsenal fans were saying the parent play Sterling as a false 9, but I don't know.
Well, I forgot about him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll have a drink when we meet up, Chris. I'll have a drink with you anytime. So that's them games, yeah? Let's move on. I'm just going through the chat, which Mark was supposed to be doing, you know what I mean, with me.
Well, I can't do that, can I? I ain't got the keys to the kingdom like you.
No, we went off on good subjects. That's okay. It doesn't matter.
Oh, Partey, Jorginho. I just saw Destiny. Yeah, Jorginho's still there as well, right? I don't know why the hell I thought Partey was gone. But on that note, gents, I do got to go. I'm supposed to leave a half hour ago. I'm supposed to be driving Jay 2.5 hours back to his college today. So I've got a nice 5-hour round trip coming up. Yay!
Oh, that's down the road for you.
What's that?
That's only down the road for you.
Then you got an Uber. Uber out there. Put him on an Uber.
I tried to put him on a train, but his mom wouldn't have it.
You tried?
Yeah. My baby. 6'2" baby. Sure. Yeah. But I will just carry on. I appreciate you having me on for the first time, letting me make my debut. Nice to meet Ian. I know I've never streamed with you before.
We should get you and Coover on together.
Nice to see you again, Bobby. I haven't seen you in ages.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's good to see you, Harry.
Every time I try to get hold of you, obviously you got your time zone and other things.
Well, you know how my summer was, Adrian. Even we didn't stream on our channel. We did like 3 shows the entire summer. It's kind of
we know you were ignoring us, like, you know what I mean.
Oh, don't worry. You're not at the top of the ignore list. I have started making a list, but you're not on it yet. Okay. Yeah. Mark has kind of been on and off the list sometimes.
Yeah.
He's good. He's off the list for now, though.
Bobby, he's on everyone's list, like.
Yeah. No, but I really appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you.
No, we'll get you back. We'll get you back because you've done
definitely. I'll be more available now because everything's settled. Jay has gone off to school and everything.
So you're mainly Sundays, is it? Mainly Sundays?
No, during the week I should be good too. Yeah, we'll start pitching a few more things.
I'm not doing Tuesday this week because even this show, I mean, we'll probably be doing a rehash of Arsenal because Friday, because the game's Sunday. Right. So, yeah. And
we'll sort something out. You got my number, buddy. By all means, message me. Yeah. Mark messaged me today. I appreciate it, Mark. Thank you. And again, thanks for inviting me.
You know, it's the least I could do.
Great to see you, Phil. Ian.
Before you go, you've got answers every guest. How did you become a Spurs fan?
Oh, basically when I was 16, I was in England at the time. It was 1992. It was right after we had kind of had the commitments done with Teddy Sheringham, and I had watched him score that goal against Bulgaria. He didn't score, where he set up Les Ferdinand, where he cut through the middle and pitched the ball right up to Les, put it on his chest, and I was like, wow. At that time, we didn't have access to football here, so I saw that play happen live, and it was one of the greatest things I'd ever seen at the time. And I turned to my cousin, and I was like, who is that? Oh my God, that was amazing. And he's like, that's Teddy Sheringham. He's going to come to Tottenham. I was like, at the time, it was between Giggs and him. I took Sheringham. He came to Tottenham. I stuck to Tottenham. Here I am all these years later, and I wouldn't change a damn thing about it.
All right. So you became a fan after we just won the FA Cup.
So basically I've cursed us.
And the inaugural year of the Premier League in 1992. So, yeah.
So I've been the curse since. So that's why I don't like talking about.
You're the Bok. You're the Bok, right?
Yeah. I'm the guy Harry really hates. I'm the reason we don't win.
All right. Well, thanks.
It's not Ange, Harry. Sorry, it's me. Love you. Bye. But take care, everybody. Thanks again. Have a great night.
Cheers, Bobby.
Come on, Spurs. Let's go.
Come on.
All right, cool.
Top man, Bobby.
Guys? Want a bit of light entertainment? We can do, just name a favourite player, choose a particular victory, select a special goal. If you're up for it, we've been going 2:38. You don't sound enthusiastic.
Favourite experience, Adrian?
For me, experience.
Favourite moment supporting Spurs?
Right, for me, I'll go first for one of mine, right? It has to be. I've experienced, don't all cry and get all jealous and want to poke pins in a goal. I've experienced Spurs win 14 trophies in my life. But the experience, right, the one that really vibrated through me, resonated with me, was in the 1984 second leg of the UEFA Cup final, when the fans started singing "There's only one Danny Thomas" after he missed his penalty. That sort of summed up to me what being a Spurs fan was. So it was like you were still, the game wasn't decided. Game wasn't even decided, but it was sort of instant round the ground, and like, I don't know. Was you there at all for that one, Ian, or not? No, I don't know.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
Is that the Anderlecht final?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was Anderlecht.
Yeah.
And they would
That's one of my dad's favourite games as well.
Forest should have met us in the final because Anderlecht would like to get done for bribing the referee. Yeah. So corruption was rife. It's been rife, always been rife in football. Your favourite experience, Ian? Or one off, just one, you know.
Just the one. Delhi laying the ball off, Mora's shot. It nestled in the corner in front of us. We looked down, we saw the ball hit the back of the net, and there was a momentary before the place went mad. And that was, for me, just amazing. The feeling was just amazing because at half time it was like a morgue where we were in the seat.
Yeah,
like standing out, over the corner flag in Amsterdam. It was horrendous. It was like, shit, we got a long way home now. We're 3-0 down, and the first goal went in, and it was like, okay, we got a little bit of a chance. Second goal went in, and everybody's buzzing. Vertonghen's hit the post, I think, after 91 minutes. And I remember turning around to one of the guys along my row and saying, we'll get one more chance. Just had that feeling. Didn't know whether we'd score or not, but you just get a feeling we'll get one more chance. When the ball hit the net, it was just mental. Amazing. Just an amazing feeling.
I'll come to you, Hez. Have you ever had a favourite Spurs experience, Hez, at all? One?
Yeah.
Just one? Have you? Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I was at the 99 Worthington Cup final when I was like 7. I still remember, actually, the last goal. Alan
Nielsen.
Alan Nielsen. I was there for that game as well.
Yeah.
After Edinburgh got sent off.
Yes.
Yeah, Savage died or something.
Yeah, he did. He got booed constantly for years after that.
Yeah.
And we was all everyone was screaming to have a Leicester player sent off after that to even the score, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good game to win for being down because we'd done them in the 1960-61 Cup final. That's how we won the double when we beat Leicester. So it's twice we beat them. Funnily enough, we've beaten Wolves twice as well and Chelsea twice.
Robbie Savage was an absolute arsehole that day. He really was. He was on during one of the halves. He was on our side of the pitch and he would run past us because we were sort of sat by the halfway line across the other side of Wembley from the steps. And every time he ran past us, he'd be like that. And we'd all be like giving him crap, and he just wound the whole Tottenham end up throughout the whole game.
Phil, a favourite experience?
It's quite a recent one, really. The Harry Kane record goal scorer at the stadium, at our stadium, Gate City, 1-0. That's the favourite one for me.
Yeah, that's good. Mark?
Actual moment.
You can remember one if you were sober.
No. I was sober enough. It's got to be in the 91 semi-final, because Arsenal were running away with the league. Everyone thought they were going to do the double, but we put a stop to it. Gazza's free kick, Lineker with a couple, just to beat them. That feeling that, even though I'd seen the FA Cup final, it was only like 9 years before we'd won the last one. But when we especially, the first semi-final, it was at Wembley because no other ground was big enough to hold it. And that made it even more special, especially when Arsenal, because Arsenal ran away with the league that year. And when we put a stop to their double efforts, it just makes it all the more, more sweet when you beat them on the way to win something.
Well, there's nothing like a good win against the Mickey Mousers, As jokingly, they say if the Scouser follows you into a revolving door, he comes out first on the other side. They're so slippery, you know what I mean? So, but this win was particularly good, wasn't the 2-1 at the Lane last season? even though they had a good goal disallowed when Matip put the ball in his own net, which was a forced error. Like, going to play you out with the crowd on that, and I'll see you all in the back room.
Faces